You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show.
FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Pretty fired up, pretty focused, pretty prepared. Thanks to our friends at Calhoun's for having us out last night. Calhoun's on the river. Sexy Lancey, you played exquisitely. Lauren, you sang like an absolute songbird. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chillins of all ages. We're fired up, focused, prepared to be with you today on a day where it is the day we find out who we're going to see in March Sadness. And I want to shout out some folks that came out. Orange Blood came out and saw us. There were some other people there last night supporting the program. Thank you. We'll be there Friday. Be right back at Calhoun's on the River on Friday. It'll be obviously different weather. Kind of a bummer last night that this weather came through and it was as cold as it was, and I mean, just, you know. But they have that patio now where they can close it down there, and it's very, 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 very nice and warm and toasty. Roasty, toasty princess. And just a fun day. Fun time to be alive and well. The green beer was a-flowing. We were pumped. All right, Brian Hartman. What is the percentage? What is the percentage? David Speaks wants to know over here before we get our guest in. Brian, how fired up are you for the tournament right now? Now that you got a little taste of it last night, a little morsel. What's your level of pump right now, Brian, for the tourney? Brian Hartman, are you there? Cinco, how you doing, buddy? Brian's not wanting to speak today. Cinco, how you doing, Cinco?
I'm doing well.
Whoa, what is that? Where is Cinco? What happened to Cinco? Brian, are you there? What's going on with Brian here? What's going on with my guys? All right, let's reboot them, Laura. Reboot them. Okay, we got Jerry Palm coming up. We're going to do a little, that's why we need Laura here, you know, in case something like this happens. And then I look at her and I go, help. Help. I was watching a musical act one time and they were playing on a TV show and the person said, so what does that look? You know, when you guys were playing together there in the middle of the song, I saw you give him a look and the answer was help. 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 Do you know what it was, Laura? Do you know? Okay, Brian's now talking into the air. I love Brian. He's He knows I'm on the air, and he's don't plug it in, and he knows I'm talking to him. That created feedback today for surface noise. Hey, Bri, how we doing, buddy?
Okay, can you hear me?
I see, Sean, that wasn't you. That was me. I had the channel turned all the way up here at the very top, the tippy top. Okay, so the gate was too far open. Bri, I want to know something. And David Speaks has asked this question. What percentage chance do you give Miami of Ohio of defeating SMU this evening?
About a 40% chance.
All right.
Between 35 and 40%.
Maury thinks we ought to really be rooting on Miami of Ohio tonight. He and I were talking today. He thinks SMU the Vols aren't going to lose to SMU, but he says SMU is the kind of team that could really drive Tennessee crazy if you gave them, especially if B.J. Edwards plays. Now, if he doesn't, who the heck knows. Sean Sinclair, your thoughts on our baseball team. I come to you for all things baseball. And just giving the 2 of 3 away and then seeing Krenzel last night, it looks like they've kind of roached his confidence here early on. No offense to our manager, but no offense.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulate you on the show must go on last night. You got to play. If you'll remember, several years ago, I played with you guys up at Laurel Valley, and there was literally no one there, and we played for 3 hours for the bartenders. But the show must go on.
That's right. You get paid practice in. We had a pretty decent crowd last night, though, which was kind of nice.
That was fun, and we had fun with the bartenders. But anyway, the baseball team. You know what? I think I think you got a young manager, and I think he was trained by. I thought Vitello often over-trusted his pitchers to get out of jams, and I think that's rubbed off on Elander. I think if he had to do it again, he would have. And your guy, our guy Will Heflin, came right out and said it. I think that was a game that we gave away with some curious pitching management. But I saw some good things. I saw a team that was scrappy. Last year, that team would have folded. This team has, I think, a little more juice to it. I still think the pitching's good. But we're still young, and we got to get some of these guys going like they should be. I'm not sure. I've seen enough that I don't know that this is a. I'm not putting a ceiling on anything, but I'm not sure this is a surefire Omaha team. I think this is a team that's going to probably. I hope is in the top third of the SEC, but certainly top half, because it seems a lot of other teams are struggling as well. So you never know. But I'm encouraged, and then I'll say this: I know a lot of people are, and I just kind of. Dunked on him a little bit, but I'm encouraged by Elander, and I'll tell you why. Vitello in front of a mic was gold, and he said a lot but didn't say much, in my opinion, when it came to the baseball game. I've been very encouraged by Elander. People ask him direct questions, and he tells them direct answers. The other day, he talked about how his team was immature in the batting. He talked about he's talked about free 90 feet, and you just can't do that. So I know he knows the game of baseball. I think it's just a little bit different when you move over to that manager side. But I'm encouraged. I really am. I hate to lose Sunday. We gave that away. That's an unforced error, but I'm encouraged.
So pretty excited today. Yeah, I come out of that Georgia weekend extremely encouraged. It kills you that you don't get 2 out of 3. I'm so encouraged, though. I saw a gear in this team that I didn't see in last year's team. And the gear is the fight, the passion that they played with, the way they looked like they were playing for each other. But, and as somebody said, the thing that's really ironic about that game is that it went all to hell once the rain stopped. But you had a pitcher out there that was soaked, wasn't comfortable, and hopefully the next time they get him out of there. Yeah, you got to have a quicker trigger than that. And it lingered. You see it yesterday. It lingered on that kid. You got to help your players. I mean, no offense. I'm not second-guessing them, but I am second-guessing them. So it's what we do here. And it's always what we're going to do here. But, Brian, did you watch that Texas game last night? Texas and the Human Sea?
Every second of it.
Did you really?
Every second of it.
I fell asleep.
It was incredible. I
came back from playing music and I was roached. And I went and laid down in the back and listened to it. So I'm listening to the Westwood One. They had a great broadcaster doing it, man. Somebody's great play-by-play. I don't know who the play-by-play guy was. But God, he was so good. He was painting a picture, man. These real radio guys that paint those pictures. Whew, this guy was so talented. Anyway, I'm just like listening to that game, and they're going back and forth. And I fell asleep, Brian, when it was like about 90 seconds left. It was a one-possession game. I know it right down to the very end. And the Human Sea caught one, didn't he, Bri? Right in his family jewelry.
Well, Texas tried to give that game away. And I don't know why they inbounded to the corner there up by 1 point and turned it over. What I like was Texas assistant coach thought the game must have been over when Mark hit the game winner.
Yep.
And he ran halfway out onto the court, and Sean Miller had to literally put a stranglehold on him to get him back over by the bench so they wouldn't pick up a technical foul.
I love this time of the year. I wish I'd have seen that. You know what's funny about bad teams, Bri? They're in that spot because they're bad teams, right? Those are two major conference teams, and Texas has talent, and they've got a pretty decently paid payroll. But they're in that spot for a reason, and I guess last night in that game they kind of showed you why, right? Because there's
both teams had lost 5 of 6 coming in.
Yep.
And NC State doesn't have much size. Texas doesn't really have a great ball handler.
Yep.
And so those were the major flaws that kind of stood out last night. Texas should have won the game based on talent. They should have been up. They should have been up like 10 or more the whole game.
Yep.
Charles Barkley, though, and Dickie V doing the game was interesting.
Which I wish I'd have known that. God, I would have watched that, man. Is he going to be there tonight doing this game?
I doubt SMU and Miami would be worthy of someone like Dick Vitale and Barkley to, no offense to those teams.
Yep.
So I'd say probably not.
By the way, I was locked into the World Baseball Classic last night, which was great. Bryce Harper hit a long home run in the bottom of the 8th to center field. And then I went to sleep. I turned to Lauren. I said, they're not going to keep that lead. Because Bryce Harper just did something well. I'm sure the USA will give that. And sure enough, in the 9th inning, Venezuela scored. Cinco, did you see any of the World Baseball Classic? Because Brian Hartman acted like it did not exist. Did you see any of it?
You know, Tone, I didn't watch it live. I watched the highlights of the U.S. game, and I certainly bleed red, white, and blue. But, after what that country, Venezuela, has gone through, I'm not trying to be political here at all. I assure you that stuff bores me. But for that country to have a little pride, they've had in soccer. It's always been a poop show for sports for them.
Yep.
And for them to come out on top.
Yep.
In the dramatic fashion in the U.S.
Yes.
I'm okay with
Me too.
I'm okay with getting a silver medal this year for those guys.
And you know what? I agree with that because the whole point of that tournament and what they're trying to do is grow the game. And so U.S. winning it, I'm not sure that grows the game. Now, it's interesting. That's a pretty great U.S. team out there. Obviously, it's not the best team we could put on the field, but that's pretty freaking good amount of talent the U.S. had out there. It just shows you that the sport around the world has really grown. I mean, it was a huge upset for that country to hold the banner at the end of the day. If you'll notice, if you watch that tournament at all, Nippon Airlines is one of their big sponsors, and several other like Japanese brands. That was the Ohtani show, because that's such a big deal to those people. By the way, Jerry Palm coming up in a mere matter of moments. But we're fired up, focused, and prepared. I just think I think baseball presented like that is cool. I got time for it. It was a fun tournament to watch. I'm not sure what it means, but I'm with Sean. I mean, if it gives a country like that the opportunity to have some bragging rights, why not? Why not us? Why not now? And it was fun to watch. And look, both sides went out there and played hard, but you could tell. For those guys, that's bragging rights. I remember we had Jose Rio on during the last World Baseball Classic, and he's Dominican, and it was after the Dominicans got whacked by somebody, and he said, listen, these guys are huge stars and are huge in our country when they go home. He said, I'll tell you this right now. He said the countrymen in their small villages and where they live will get all over them for the way they performed here. They're going to jump all over them. So those guys, when they hear about it, or when they play out there, they feel it. So, but Cinco's right. Venezuela is they're a country that kind of needed some good news. So good for them. Brian, Jerry Palm going to lend us a hand, huh? Jerry's still out there bracketologing.
He's got his takes, and he's going to make his 26th debut with us.
Yep.
This season.
I love Jerry. Such a good dude. In fact, let's bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you bow thy head when you say thy name. It's a meeting of the alleged minds. He's back again on your Tony Basilio show. I'm sure it's a dream of his. Jerry Palm, is it like a reoccurring nightmare? Because I always have the one where I didn't graduate from college, or I have to go to school and I'm naked. I don't know where this falls for you. Is this somewhere between those two junctures for you?
I always look forward to these visits. I feel like it's been too long.
Hello, yes, it's been a while. Not much. How about you? Jerry, your thoughts. Give me a letter grade on how the committee did here, seating this thing.
I really don't have too many complaints. I would say the biggest one is I thought Vanderbilt as a 5 was kind of harsh.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been a 3. Certainly shouldn't have been any worse than a 4. But for the most part, I don't really have too many problems with the job they did this year. I have a problem with Miami being in the tournament with such a poor schedule, but the criteria are such that they had to put them in. So, but it's funny because wins above bubble, a relatively new stat to the team sheet just last year, have that much influence on which teams get selected. It's not much in seeding, but in selections, apparently it's a huge thing, and it's and that's what Miami got in on wins above bubble alone.
For the living listener, explain what that means, wins above bubble, when we hear that.
Yeah, it's basically how an average bubble team would do against your schedule, minus how you did against your schedule in terms of the number of wins. And it's obviously it's a calculation and it's advanced math, but still, that's basically it. So they were 39th in wins above bubble last year. 46 was the worst to get in, and I think it was everybody 42 and below, and then only a couple above that. So, they were in that range again this year. We don't have a lot of historical data to consider things to be trends yet, but certainly, their strength of schedule's well over 100 spots lower than any team to ever get an at-large bid. They're horrible in the predictive metrics. And, they're going to be a huge underdog, maybe even in the play-in game, but certainly after that, if they get by it. And I'm not even sure they were the best team in their league. I actually thought Akron was.
Great, Jerry Palm, breaking it down scientifically. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing, right? And the criteria always moves. And so for people like you, you've got to keep up with it because they're constantly adjusting and fiddling around. What's their next initiative, do you feel like, that they're going to focus on now that we've got this wins above bubble thing going? What's our next step?
Well, and that's been a pretty well thought of stat since it was created, and I can't tell you how long ago that was, but it's not exactly old. But as to what's next, it's hard to say. I don't think they're going to do anything like put the predictive metrics in charge. Because that's not really what they're trying to reward. So, and it's actually kind of odd that they're even on the team sheet since it's so much not what they're trying to reward. I think that's maybe more for show than anything else. But, you talked about like the standards move. What really moves is the people. You know, they have new people turnover every year, and they come in with their own, biases as to what data is important to them. That's just they're new individuals that might think differently about things, and so things may look like they're changing every year, but it's really, I think, the people that are changing.
Well, Brian Hartman brought a good point up. It's almost like the SEC tournament. I mean, not that I care what happens with SEC teams, because I really don't, aside from my own. But it's almost like the tournament didn't happen. Arkansas gets sent out west, and they kind of flash through the thing, and they get to be a 4 seed, way, way far away from home. Meanwhile, like you're saying, Vanderbilt's at least a seed line, if not 2 seed lines higher for the way they played and finished. And we saw them a couple times at the end of the year, and they're, hey, man, to quote Mr. T back in the day, I pity the fool. I mean, that's going to be a tough out. And
I agree.
To have them on the 5 line, I mean, basically, you haven't done anybody else any favors putting them on the 5.
No, I agree. When you underseed a team, you're not just hurting that team; you're hurting the teams that they could play. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that the conference tournament is no different than the regular season. All games count the same. They're no more important, other than one of them decides an automatic qualifier. In terms of the totality of your resume, they're 1, 2, 3 games out of 35. So a lot of people look at the conference tournaments, because there's a championship involved, but also, it's the last thing you see of these teams. But the committee doesn't value the conference tournament games individually any more than they do individual regular season games.
The great Jerry Palm joining. Yeah, just didn't feel like this year, with it being like the softest bubble in forever, except from Bruce Pearl kicking up a little dust. There didn't seem like...
That didn't change the quality of the bubble.
That's exactly right. And that's your point. The quality of that bubble this year, if anybody that wants to expand that tournament, Jerry, is out of their damn minds.
I agree. 100%. And it's been the last 3 years. Like, this one was worse than last year's, and last year was worse than the one before, and that was probably the worst of all time then. So it's not getting better at the bottom of the bracket. It's getting worse. And a part of the reason for that is the 4 football major conferences, in particular, are getting all the money.
That's right.
And so when we'll say Miami of Ohio gets a guy that's good enough to play for one of those other teams, they're going to go buy him.
That's exactly right.
It's hard to maintain.
That's exactly right.
Your best players at that level, and so then the gap between those 4 conferences and other sports can change as well, and that's what's happening here. And I actually fear for the Big East, because the Big East is still a major conference in college basketball.
Totally agree with that.
But they only have one FBS football program, and that's UConn, and they're not exactly pulling in big bucks in football. So, we're starting to see fewer at-large teams out of the non-major conferences, fewer at-large quality teams out of that group, which is why there's fewer teams. And I just think that gap's going to get bigger. It concerns me that gap is going to get bigger, and that this tournament that we love ends up really suffering for it, and maybe even going away in this format. Because,
Jerry, the essence of the tournament is David versus Goliath. We still want to believe that one shiny stone, man. Yeah, that one shiny stone, that one knockout shot with that shiny stone, it can still happen right now, right before our very eyes.
Yep.
And NIL is going to, You know, and NIL is going to inhibit that. There's no question that's true.
Yeah.
So how about this? When we look at now, we've got a new thing where we've got the AFC and the NFC, and we've got people in my chat here over on YouTube. Like, we've got 160 people watching us live there alone, which is a really good number for a long form program. That's a 3-hour long show in the middle of the day, and then a couple thousand will view it before it's over. But somebody asked a question, Jerry. They said, why would they value the Big Ten tournament? They moved Purdue up from an 11 to an 8 overall in the tournament.
Because
but they don't value the SEC.
Some really good teams on the way there. I mean, Purdue beat Michigan. I mean, that's the big win that Vanderbilt didn't get.
But Vandy beat Tennessee. How about Vandy beat Florida? Vandy beat Florida.
Vandy beat Florida.
That's comparable to Michigan.
I don't think it's comparable. Yeah, they're both 1 seeds, but it just Purdue is like an elite team off their home floor.
Yeah, they're in the Big Ten
this year. There were 5 home losses this year. Wisconsin was the worst team to beat them at home, so none of those losses were to bad teams. But just a weird year from Purdue's perspective to get like 3 years worth of home losses in this season, and then they still end up a 2 seed because they were great off their home floor in non-conference play. They always play a great schedule, and then run through their conference tournament, beating 3 more really good teams along the way, and one of which is Michigan.
Hey, Brian, see why the audience thinks Jerry has Purdue and a Big Ten bias. I don't get that from Jerry when he says
I had them as a 3, by the way.
You had him on the 3. You had him there,
which I almost never miss on Purdue. And you know why I did?
Yeah,
because 2 of the teams they would have to jump to move to a 2 were teams that beat them at home, and I just thought and they're not. I didn't think their resume was better enough to overcome that.
So he agrees, Bri. See that? We're breaking news here. Jerry kind of agrees, Bri.
I guess Michigan State was one of those teams that beat Purdue
Michigan State
in
and
their
Illinois.
building.
Yeah, Michigan State and Illinois, who I will see this week in Greenville.
Nice. Will you be going over to the Lady Vol game in Ann Arbor this weekend?
I will not. I'm going to go to the Chicago. I'm in Greenville now,
right?
Which is Duke and Carolina. Illinois is here.
Nice.
And then I will be in Chicago next weekend.
Give me the card over there in Greenville that you're going to see. I want to hear the card.
So Duke's the top team. Kansas, Illinois, North Carolina's here. The 2 seed here is I'm drawing a blank. But the team I'm actually excited about is because I think they can beat Carolina.
The sweet gal my son's dating. Sweet gal my son's dating. I got to back up here. It's 2026. Anything goes. Sweet gal my son's dating is a Virginia graduate. And she comes from like a basketball family, and they went to go to tournaments, and they went from the championship run and all that. And we were talking about that first round because my nephew is going to the Friday games up in Philly, where I'm from, and the Vols are playing there, and they want to go see Uncle Tony's alma mater and this, that, and the other. And I was telling him it's really a great show, the first round, because you get the flavor of all these different schools, and there cannot be a better value in all sports than the chance to sit there all day and watch games, Jerry, if you're a Hoops fan.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree, because whatever the ticket price is here, you're getting 4 games for it.
Yep.
So I don't know if you can get separate session tickets, but because I always have a credential, but so I haven't really bought tickets for a while. But it's 4 games. It's a long day, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, and he was telling me, he said, I'm really looking for it. I'm like, man, you're going to love it. You get to see the pep bands, all the cheerleaders, the different flavor.
Always one of my favorite parts.
Exactly. That's me too. I love seeing the different traditions, the different fight songs, and it's all just kind of right there. It sounds like you've got a stacked and packed region. All right, what's the toughest, speaking of regions, when you look at the bracket, what's the toughest, what's the easiest? And boy, my Vols have a pretty good draw. If they were really healthy, I would love their draw. But let's talk about the regions first.
I think Duke's region, because you got Kansas as a 4. And, man, that's a good team. And I'm not saying they were underseeded. They were not, because they had a hit-and-miss year, in part because Peterson was in and out of the lineup. But when he's healthy, they're good enough to win the whole thing. They are flat out good enough to win the whole thing. when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he will be. I picked them for the Final Four in part because of that, and in part because I just needed to pick someone different. But and that's a team that has got one of those freshmen, and there's a lot of those guys this year that can carry a team deep into a tournament if they need to. And I think that's what's going to make this tournament a lot of fun is that you've got all these great players that we're not going to see in college basketball next year, their freshman year now. And Duke's a team like that. They're dinged up.
Yep.
It's just Carolina, of course, is really dinged up, which is partly why I picked VCU. So, all these guys, the Banta, even at BYU, which is a 60, I wouldn't count them out of a Sweet 16. He can carry him that far.
Jerry, these young freshmen, not mean to step on you, but we haven't seen anything like this. This tournament is absolutely from Debanza right on through.
What might be the best one, which is Acock at Arkansas.
Oh, he's unbelievable. We were talking about him yesterday. He's so capable of carrying them past Arizona into the Elite Eight and maybe into the Final Four against your Purdue boys. He's so capable. So capable, Jerry. So capable.
Yep. That's a team that could make a run that wouldn't surprise me in the least.
It's a shame my Vols aren't healthy. Now, my Vols are 2 guards short and have been all year. But this Ament guy...
I saw him this year, actually. I saw him win at Alabama.
Oh, nice. You saw one of our highlights.
Yeah, I did. They looked good that day.
Jerry Palm joining, breaking it down scientifically, moving left or right across your device. And you'll be covering the event this weekend for Jerry?
Oh, just my own. I'm on my own.
Just doing your thing.
PalmBrackets.com. Yep, PalmBrackets.com.
I love it, man. You can't keep a good man down. That's the old country song, Jerry. I believe it. And by the way, being on your own in this day and age is not a bad thing in this world.
No, I know. I started on my own.
I know that. You were college RPI and college. It was you were college BCS and college RPI. Is that right?
Yep. Yes.
Good memory.
Before CBS hired me, and that was 15 years ago now.
And what's the website called, Jer?
PalmBrackets.com.
On brackets.
PalmBrackets.com.
PalmBrackets.com. Thank you very little. As Jerry Palm joins, and I want to give him full attribution. I just love him. I appreciate him so much. He's a good man. And even when he hit the big time, he was like, you know what, Basilio, you get on my nerves. We argue. We fight. You needle me, and you're annoying, but I'm going to do the show. I'm really busy. I got like 50 hits this week, but I'm going to make it 51 for you, even though you're going to get me on and you're going to piss me off and you're going to call me a Purdue shill and we're going to go through that rigmarole. All right, what about the Vols, Jerry? Go through look at your bracket. Tell me where you have my Vols, how far you have my Vols going.
I think I have them one and done.
Brian, do you hear this clown that you booked on here? Did you hear what he just said, Brian? Brian, did you hear that?
So one and done meaning they win a game or they lose?
Yeah, win a game.
Lose Friday.
So he's got to do what Matt Dixon has them doing. They're going to win Friday.
I got them losing to the Virginia team you were just praising.
No, look, that's a fair expectation for where the Vols are right now. That's a fair.
I saw them this year too, Virginia. I saw them at Florida State. They almost lost, but that's a good team. You can see why. You can see why they're having such a good season. Oh,
they have a nice club. They've got balance. It's one thing we don't have. We're a little off balanced. Jerry, how many teams in the field have that true balance with the backcourt and the front court? Because that seems to be a missing thing in the NIL era with some of these teams.
Most of the better teams do. Like all the one seeds are good in the backcourt and the front court. Purdue is definitely Illinois for sure. Michigan is good. Michigan's so good at every position. It's crazy. And Michigan's got this guy, Yaxel Lendeborg, who's probably he could be National Player of the Year. Is like 6'9" and can play all 5 positions on the floor and can guard all 5 positions on the floor. And when Purdue was beating them in the second half and they were trying to change their luck, they put him on Braden Smith to try and slow down, at least Purdue's offense. And it did slow him down, but it wasn't effective enough in the end because Braden is so much shorter. He could get by him. Once he figured out how to do it. So it was, but it was a unique thing. I mean, he can guard point guards. He can be a point guard. He's a tremendous player and the Swiss Army knife for that Michigan team, which is talented at every position.
Jer, on the way out, look down at tomorrow's schedule, okay? Give me a little viewer's guide for people that have a cursory attention that they pay to this thing. Give me 3 games tomorrow that you got to see, in your humble opinion, on the Thursday.
I haven't got a schedule.
Don't have it in front of you? Okay.
I don't have it by date. I just have the bracket.
Bri, throw me out. Hey, Bri, throw me out some games from tomorrow. And Jerry, you tell me if these are 4-star games, 5-star games, 3-star games. And Bri, don't give me the 16 versus 1s, you clown. Give me the decent games in the middle of the bracket games. You have that in front of you, or do I need to dig for it? Jerry, what SEC team do you have to go in the furthest?
Probably Florida. But I don't have any in my Final Four. I have Michigan and Illinois, Kansas, and Arizona.
Give me your thing again. Give it to me again.
Michigan,
right?
Arizona, Kansas, and Illinois.
Wow. All right, let me give you the schedule here, Jerry. You tell me what sticks out to you. You ready? This is tomorrow. I got TCU, Ohio State, 8-9 game. Nebraska, Troy, 13-4. I've got South Florida.
By the way, Nebraska looking for their first all-time tournament win.
I know, isn't that great? Against Troy of all teams, so somebody's going to make a little history there, which is kind of fun. I've got South Florida, who, by the way, has made an NIL pledge to their coach that had him turning Syracuse down. Now, will he turn Providence down? I don't know, but that's the world we live in right now. That South Florida is a better job than Syracuse. That's the world we're living in. You've got South Florida against Louisville, the 11-6 game there. It's 1:30 Eastern Time. You've got High Point and Wisconsin. High Point, a rich mid-major program with a lot of money. A 12-5 matchup there. You've got McNeese State and Vanderbilt. You've got Hawaii and Arkansas. You've got VCU, North Carolina. Jerry, you like VCU? You like Phil Martelli Jr. to get the dub?
Yeah, I do. I think that they're feisty, they're physical. Although they won't be big like North Carolina could be big, so they'll have trouble with North Carolina's size. But North Carolina's down their point guard, and that's obviously a big problem. And I think VCU can harass their backcourt and maybe get some points in transition. Texas
and BYU, Jerry, talk to me.
I have BYU in the Sweet 16. I AJ DeBanza. I mean, I think not having Saunders is a problem long term, which is why I don't have him any further than that. But I think they can get through 2 games.
Buckyball with St. Mary's tomorrow night, 7:35.
Wisconsin.
Buckyball would be Texas A&M. My boy against St. Mary's out of California.
Up here, Buckyball is the Badgers because they're Bucky Badgers.
Yeah, it's annoying. Yes.
No, I don't like A&M.
No, that run and gun stuff, that's fun, but you're not going to win with it. Moving,
not long term.
Ask Kim Caldwell. St. Louis, another interesting thing I found out. It was on D1 Ticker. This is the new thing now. So the Shirts guy is a hot young coach. He started with the Rail Splitters right up the road from us here. Lincoln Memorial University did great stuff there. My cohort Bino would go watch them in the tourney when he was there in their tourney. And Bino is a basketball connoisseur. Anyway, St. Louis is he signed a deal there recently, but he didn't take a bunch of money for himself. What he's doing is they've given him an NIL commitment, Jerry. $6 million, $8 million, $7, $9 million. They're kind of stair-stepping what they're doing. That's the new thing now, and you will dominate mid-major basketball when you have a $6 to $8 million. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't like the form they're in now, so right. I didn't pick them to win this game. But I think the program though is in good shape.
Brian, what are you looking at with Mikey Whitey? Mikey Whitey, the 8-9 game with St. Louis, who haven't been playing well here in the last 10.
Georgia hasn't won a tournament game since 2002.
Yep.
And they were embarrassed last year by Gonzaga. Now, that was last year.
Humiliated, I'd call it.
And it wouldn't surprise me. That game could go either way. I could see St. Louis winning. I think I have a bracket that has St. Louis winning that game.
Yep.
But Georgia certainly, Yeah, they're due to win a game somewhere, and they can score a lot of points. I think the over is probably what you want to play.
Yep. An embarrassing, humiliating defeat for them. Jerry, your favorite game of the first round is what? Anything jump out to you? First, both days. What's the game you're most looking forward to?
VCU and Carolina.
Boom. Tell me why.
Because I just love VCU's defense, and I think that's a game that North Carolina's in for a fight. And so you're talking about, it's a non-major against a blue blood in the sport, and that's it's a game that I've already picked as an upset. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Jerry, I'm going to ask you in my greatest Shaka Khan, Rufus and Shaka Khan voice. Tell me something good about this Santa Clara Kentucky matchup on Friday at 12:15, as Kentucky is the curtain jerker, the opening round match. That's how far they've fallen.
Yeah, it's Santa Clara can totally win that game. Because I don't know what this Kentucky team is.
I know what they are. They're garbage.
They're a mess. They're just a mess. So you never know. Sometimes you get out of the regular season into the tournament, and a different light comes on. But talent's not the problem. Never is.
Yep.
At Kentucky, and but Santa Clara can totally win that game.
Jerry, you're kind of my man. Much love to you. Tell the living listener where they can find you and all the coordinates, and I love you and appreciate you, brother.
It's palmbrackets.com. I also got a YouTube channel now, which you can access from that site, and please subscribe. And then I'll be doing video like reports from the tournaments.
Bang! We'll have you back next week, Jerry. I love you.
All right, that sounds good.
Palmbrackets.com. Thanks, Jerry.
All right, nice to talk to you. Bye.
Nice talking to you. Tell me something good. You know what I like about him, Bri? He's never been a panderer. Never been a panderer. You know that? Does not pander. Doesn't care.
Not even to Purdue all the time. Although he's a
Purdue sheep.
He doesn't pander.
Yeah, he's a sheep. Absolute sheep of the East. Hey, Cinco, I got a question for you. I want to see how Cinco pleads to this. If Cinco's in the house, Cinco, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Somebody put up here that Tennessee hasn't won an SEC baseball series since Ole Miss on April 13th of last year. Is that right, Sean Sinclair? Does that ring true with you?
Boy, I don't have the memory like Brian does, but maybe so.
That is true.
How is that possible, Sean?
We've had to sit through the basketball team blowing leads all the time. Now I guess we're going to have to do the same thing with baseball.
Docky Boy Danny. What are we doing, Docky Boy Danny? Brian, do we come on Friday afternoon as a prelude to our game and do a little watch party and a Kentucky? Since Matt Jones only does 15 minutes, do we come on here and do an emergency Kentucky BBN podcast and act like we care and do a Kentucky postgame show, like spoof them? Or maybe we go all the way and we get our guy up there and give him a chance on doing some postgame with us, Bri. What do you think?
Well, if Kentucky wins, I don't think we'll want to do that.
Brian, I mean if they lose, you goof. I'm not doing no damn postgame if they win. Jeez Louise, Brian. I mean, we got to get it together here, as the old song goes. Baseball team really needs a sweep this weekend, but we don't worry about sweeps. We need to get 2 out of 3. Need to end that funk. A year? In between, last year was a goofy season. You had Tony Valls out there starting a game on a Friday night. Literally, because we played music that night, literally thought I was going to get electrocuted. And then I got in my car and I heard that they tried to start the game. Then I called Matt and he said, "Oh my God, Tony, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen." He said it was absolutely lightning popping all around. And Tony's out there, start the game. Start the game, start the game, start the game. And then Tony says afterwards, "Well, he tells somebody, I got a different forecast." Where'd you get it, Tony? Off your decoder ring? that came in the box of Cracker Jacks? When it's time, what are we doing? You want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gouffon Moving and Storage are pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gouffon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gouffon.com. That's Gouffon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gouffon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Start the new year with comfort and savings from Pipe Wrench Home Services. Tired of high energy bills and constant heating and AC repairs? Ready for a more efficient home? There's never been a better time to upgrade your comfort and take control of your energy costs. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. A new energy-efficient system means lower bills, fewer breakdowns, and peace of mind for years to come. And with Pipe Wrench Home Services same-day service guarantee, you won't wait to start enjoying a more comfortable home. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. Schedule your free estimate today at pipewrench.com. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors we're liquidating. Supercore is the best waterproof floor with a lifetime warranty. Where are you going to find that anywhere else? Nowhere, let me tell you. $1.79 lifetime warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer and let's make a deal.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee Volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall. TB back with you. Rodney Garner, get well. Shout out to T. Martin, who goes back to LSU. Brian Hartman, you were pointing that out. So Lane Kiffin giving T. Martin a landing spot to keep his coaching career alive. Your thoughts on that, Brian?
Going to be an offensive analyst for the Tigers.
Yep.
And Lane Kiffin is a good guy to be an offensive analyst under.
One of the 180 people that, no doubt, 180 coaches. What do you think, Cinco, the old school guys would think if they could come back and see what's become of college football, where you have a staff of like 200 people under you, when you used to do it with like a staff of 6?
Well, when we were in school, there were only 2 GAs. That was it.
Now how many?
There was a time when they had several.
Yep.
And then they went down and just had one offensive and one defensive.
Yes.
And now I can't even I'll tell you what, not just football, but I was watching the baseball game. And they would show the dugout, and there were 4 or 5 people in the screen that weren't players.
You think one of them could say, hey, why don't you go change that pitcher? Anyway, one thing about me, I will take a dead horse and I will beat it in the compost, in case you're interested. And it's really tiring. I get sick of listening to this show. I got to be really honest with you. A guy walked up to me last night, a real brain donor, and he goes, I used to listen to your show all the time. And I looked at him and said, what do you do? And he said, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I used to have insurance with you. I just kind of walked away from him. So pretty fired up, folks, and prepared here. Here's the deal.
I get sick of blowing leads in multiple sports. That's what I'm sick of.
Blowing leads, Bri?
Yeah, like having 20-point leads in basketball and
5-0
double-digit leads in the second half, and just seeing that happen. And in baseball, we're starting in on that too.
That's a great point, Brian. When you have
sick of that.
When you have a 5-0 lead at Georgia in the rain, and you have the bullpen advantage, and they're going through their relievers like they're Dixie cups, and they're just throwing cups on the ground or solo cups at a barbecue. And they're down to their last couple of solo cups, and you got a whole big stack of them over there. How do you lose that game? But I digress. So this weekend, Cinco, becomes kind of a big series for the Vols all of a sudden, and here's why. Because now I've got to go to Vanderbilt next week. I better at least get 2 out of 3. I'm going to say there's a little pressure. There's always pressure in these SEC series. But in light of the fact they haven't won a series in over a year, that's something that will become more of a focal point if it becomes more of a focal point, Sean, and you don't want it to become more of a focal point. Yes or no?
Well, you gotta avoid being swept away, and you gotta win 2 of 3 at home. That's always been the gold standard. And then what separates the other ones is what you do in that third game. So,
yep.
Look, I think we have some of the best starting pitching in the league. I mean, the big cash cow, LSU just looks non-LSU. I don't know. I mean, Texas is up there, but, again, I still think I hate to say the bats will come alive. That's like when I make fun of my friends that say we just need to hit a few more shots in basketball, but I still think we're going to be okay.
These guys are going to hit. I mean, there's too much hitting for it, not for those guys. Not what I liked about the weekend, and Heflin was doing the post-game show. We jumped up, and we're high-fiving. He jumped me up and hugged me and was like, we're back. And then I'm like, hey, Will, sit down. He caught the ball. And he goes, we're both looking at it. Every Tennessee fan alive thought that ball was out of there. Cinco, the size of this freshman quarterback. I was on with George Plaster yesterday, and I was bragging on this kid. I'm hearing really great things about him. I'm hearing he's really mature. I'll tell you one thing. For an 18-year-old kid, he's got the body of a 21-year-old. I told Kelly Holcomb, I said, I want you between now and next week to go look at some video of that kid, and I want you to report back to me. When I come on here next week, I want you to report back to me, big boy. Your thoughts, Cinco, on just the physical prowess of that kid.
Big kid. Good-looking kid. And then I like that. And then the kid they've got committed for the upcoming year, I think he got the MVP of the tournament down in Atlanta, like Elite Eight or something like that, as just a 3-star. I mean, big, massive kid. If you haven't seen Derek Gibson, maybe, I can't remember his name, but just a big old monster. But, looks good. I caution everybody not to read too much into these highlights you see from practice. I saw someone talking about how things look sloppy. Freshmen didn't look like 5-star.
Of course they don't.
They're breaking down the kids right now.
That's right.
And teaching them, and they'll get sharper and more crisp.
Kelly asked me yesterday.
It's just ridiculous. I heard someone talking about the way they ran a wide receiver route, and it wasn't like what Kippy Brown had juniors and seniors doing back in the day. As a freshman, I mean, your second day is where you're just teaching them. So everyone needs to calm down.
Well, Kelly asked me yesterday. He goes, "How did the wide receivers look? How the hell do I know?" That's what I said to him. I said they got some quality guys back. They got some guys they like. The issue with this team. Look, they're going to have enough on offense to be formidable. We all believe that. I believe that. We believe that. The tail of this team is going to be on the defensive end. Like, you got a first-year coach who, in his first year with Penn State, who, by the way, had a bunch of NFL players out there, which we don't. We have a few on defense, but they had a bunch of them. Took a step back because his defense, there are growing pains with his defense. The trick here this year, and maybe that's what went into that 6.5 number, Bri, that we saw that Vegas released on Tennessee's win total, which I think was jarring to some people. Not so much to me. My first inclination, we talked about what's a par last week on the air, was I think 7 wins next year. My first inclination was, and it was 1 week ago we were talking about that, was a par. And so, maybe that's the case. Who knows? I don't know if our fan base will view it that way. But look, we have a young team. And Sean's right. Some of the talk about spring ball, and I'm going to try not to be too prone, even if I hear like that Faison Brandon is the second coming of Michael Vick. And look, I'm very excited looking at his anatomy. Let's put it that way, to quote Carl Carlton, and She's a Bad Mama Jamma. But I got to tell you, I'm pumping the brakes on everything till I see us play a game. Anything that I hear, anything that's said, but I will tell you, they are raving about that kid. They are raving about that kid. Now, look, and I know Knowles brought some guys from Penn State with him to help with the transition, and hopefully it does. But I don't expect them to be in year 1 what they're going to be in year 2. That's why, to me, I've always looked ahead to 2027. And people are like, well, are you punting on 2026? And the answer is no. No, I'm not punting on 2026. Coach is making $10 million a year. Why would I punt on 2026? But I was always of the belief, and I did this when the Joey Aguilar case was, I'm not bandwagoning it here, but when Joey Aguilar's case was in full bloom, my take was, and this is just it, my take was, I want to see the kids play because I want them to get experience for 2027. Because if Aguilar was back this year, they were going to play him full-time, and I don't know that it would have served the program long-term. I'm sorry. Because I don't know that you're, what was your win total going to be with Joey Aguilar, Bri? What do you think the Vegas win total would have been with Joey Aguilar, Bri? What do you think?
It probably would have been maybe 7.5, 8.5.
It's 6.5 now. Sean, what do you think with Aguilar?
7.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe one more. And so here's my point. If you're going to go 8-4, okay, or 7-5, play your kids. Play your kids. And let's grow. And let's all do this. Let's all look to 2027 and go, hey, let's get in the playoffs in 2027 and win a few playoff games. That's a nice goal. That's a nice goal. And here's the thing about it. After getting fried publicly over the Nico stuff, I'm not doing that again. When I hear all this rave review stuff about these guys thrown against air, here's my thing, okay? You ready? When I see it on the field, is when I'm going to believe it. When I see it on the field is when I'm going to believe it. You can tell me all about these film guys that break the thing down. Listen, when I see it on the field, when I see you function on a college football field is when I'm going to believe it. And not 1 second before that. Great day on Fan Run Radio. William Pattison up in an hour. We've got Watson Brown up next. Dubsy and the gang got a full complement for you as we got a game tonight that's going to decide who we see on Friday. It's Miami of Ohio, Ramir's Alma Mater against SMU, former home of the ice handler, who's now matriculated to Rice. And by the way, will B.J. Edwards be on the floor tonight? Brian Hartman, will B.J. Edwards be on the floor tonight? Yes or no? Talk to me here. Brian Hartman.
I'll say no. I'll say yes, he will be.
Yes, he will.
How effective he will be, I don't know.
All right. So, according to Diskin said, I'm looking forward to 2035. That'll be our go year, 2035. Or somebody on here dissing Matt, saying that Matt's negative. Matt's not negative, Bri, is he? Is Matt negative? I don't find Matt negative.
Of course not. Of course not.
Of course he's not. But you people, you're the keyboard warriors. You're the keyboard warriors. You're the person hiding behind a fake name while TGMD brings it every day under his own banner. Watson Brown, presented by Simpson's Meats after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Yeehaw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Chilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes Light. Carnes Motor Company.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest. Finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and as always, go Vols.
You know, I looked down just now at where we were, okay, on the air, and I got to be honest with you here because Watson Brown's joining. We got to talking, okay, and he fires me up, focuses me, and prepares me. And I'm ripping Kelly Holcomb for his after my appearance yesterday on George Plaster's show, and got to laughing with Coach because it ties in with something Sean Sinclair was talking about a second ago, which is, look, I know everybody got to make a living, as the old song goes from Boston, you know. I don't care about indecision. I don't care if I get behind. People living in competition. All I want is my peace of mind. And sometimes on the internet, you're just better off just kind of going, you know what? All I want today is my peace of mind. I don't need to watch every little piece of video broken down from spring practice that's completely taken out of context. And Cinco was talking about people on a board that he's on or his friends, and they're like, well, what are they doing with this route here? And you're critiquing every little thing. And Sean, for Coach Brown, who now joins, if you can, kind of repeat, Cinco, sort of where you were for Coach Brown, just to give him a sense of where you're coming from. And then we bring Watson Brown in on his Wednesday with Watson appearance here. Spring ball's now here. Go ahead, Cinco.
No, say that again, please.
Well, you were talking about the fact that people look at film now out of spring ball, and they pull it way out of context. Yeah. And I'm gonna bring Coach Brown in here. Go ahead, Cinco.
Well, I mean, people may not understand this, but if you're any kind of music player, if you play an instrument, I mean, if you're learning a solo, you certainly have to get the solo under your fingers first. And the way I've always done it is you just take the first phrase and you get that under your fingers, and then meaning that you memorize it. That's what we would call it.
Yep.
And then you take the second phrase and you add the two together, and then you go and then you start building up your tempo, and then you, for the last thing, you start for guitar players, and then you would start adding the embellishments, how the artist does it, their vibrato, their slides, harmonic, whatever. But you certainly, and I equate that with the football thing. If you're, first thing you do is show them the route, have them try that so they can get that under their feet, if you will, and then you start fine tuning and refining. So everybody just needs to calm down.
And what we're talking about, Watson, is there's video now all these schools put out of these practices, and the fans are hungry for it, and I get it. I mean, we're all hungry for it. We all want to see it. But to draw conclusions, to make any kind of judgments from anything that happens in the spring is really kind of silly, Watson, isn't it?
Well, yes. It absolutely it is. Even toward the end of spring, you'd have a little better shot of drawing some conclusions, but you're teaching, you're putting in, and it's the fundamentals. It's very, very simple stuff.
Yeah.
I always, and when I visit other places for spring ball, you were not anywhere close to what your system was in spring practice. It was much more fundamental work, putting in the bases of a pass play, and going at it that way. So when and if you're trying to watch an individual drill and say this guy's this or this guy's that, that's not the way it works. You got to see him compete against somebody else and watch him compete against the best corners if it's a receiver in practice in a very competitive drill, or even team periods at the end, or even basically scrimmages. Scrimmages is when you really get to evaluate a guy, and we always wanted to put our best on our best in the spring so we could see how good each side really was, or how good each player really was. So no, spring ball is nothing but fundamental work. Toward the end, you get into more of the concepts, but right now they're teaching you how to come off the ball, how to come out of a cut, how to run this certain inside route, how to plan off of this foot, cross over with this foot, whatever it might be. You're being a lot simpler than these people that are watching it on tape or think that you are. And they're evaluating more than a coach is at that point. I'm telling you, coaches is teaching right now, and the evaluation will come as the competitiveness goes on through spring ball. And a lot of times you leave spring ball still not really sure.
Well, and that's right, and that's okay. Like if you create some competition, and you don't need all the answers right now. When you look at a piece of tape right now, Watson, and obviously you see things, what sorts of things do you look for? Because one of the things I got yesterday is looking at this Faison Brandon kid. He doesn't look like an 18-year-old kid. That's one of the first things I look at when I see a guy. I mean, that's a huge 18-year-old kid. Outside of that, what do I look at when I'm looking at a quarterback? What do you try to look at when you're looking at a kid's just spring film?
If I'm a coach, I'm more watching his fundamentals and how to improve him than I am just watching his talent. Talent's not going to show much in spring ball with a new quarterback because they're learning. And when you're having to think, you're a half a player. I always said that. If I can make a defensive player think on a Saturday, he's half a player that he normally is, being an offensive guy. If I can make a defensive guy have to think when that ball's being snapped, then he's half a player. And that's what you're going to get with a quarterback right now. They're teaching. They're not evaluating as much as they're teaching. Yeah, they come in and say, man, he picked this up pretty quick or whatever. But they're watching these fundamentals of his feet. They're watching where his elbow is in his throwing motion. They're watching his eyes and how he's using his eyes as far as some of his high-low game and stuff like that. It's fundamental work. And so trying to draw a conclusion from that right now would be crazy. They may come out of spring ball with their quarterback and that they're going to start with, but they may not. And it's not a negative if they don't. You get it settled by sometime early in preseason, you're doing pretty good when you've got brand new quarterbacks, in my opinion. Now, McIntyre's got a year, so he ought to be better right now. He ought to look better because he knows more of the stuff and is probably relaxed more than the other kid is.
Do they do different things with those two kids? In other words, you just got here, so we're not going to put as much on you as we put on him. We're going to grow you differently, and we're going to try and create discomfort for GMAC and mix it up on him a little bit as spring goes along. Is that something you think we see? Do you do that as a coach?
You're going to put the same stuff in with both of them. So that's a given. But from there, you're not going to judge the freshman as quick as you will judge McIntyre, who's been with you a year.
Yes.
You're going to take a little slower, but you're going to put in the same stuff. They're listening to the same things in the meeting rooms. They're watching the same things. The coach is talking to both of them the exact same way. So that's overblown a little bit too. But the coaches will expect McIntyre to be further along. That if he's not, it'll disappoint them. Because when you had a year and a half over basically walking in the door,
well, and therein lies with all these teams, right? I mean, everybody's got a team in flux right now in the transfer portal era. You have all these new players. Fan bases get little glimpses of video that come out of these, and they want to draw conclusions off these little snippets of video that they see, and I don't know, man. I won't be fooled again.
Impossible to do. Yeah. If you're doing that, you're guessing. Because the change in a brand new player walking in the door in the first day of spring practice to the end of preseason practice is night and day. That's night and day.
Yep.
So you can see quickness out of a cut, or you can see speed, and you get excited and say, "Ooh, he's got the burst," but it won't go any further than that because he's learning. It's like you're a freshman again, and you're a junior coming in from the transfer portal, but you're a freshman again because it's a total different package. And it's not that you run an outcut any different than you did when you were at Colorado or wherever. The terminology is what takes so long. That in itself is a complete different world. You might come from a pro-style terminology, which is wordy, to Tennessee style, which might be 2 words. And you might be running an outcut at Colorado that, you run an outcut at Tennessee, but you also have to adjust to this coverage where at Colorado you just ran an outcut no matter what the coverage was. So I can't even tell you how much differences it would be. You're basically a freshman all over again. And that's why I think it's so important. They're talking offense at Tennessee. Tennessee's offense, I think, is going to be okay.
I agree.
Defense is where they need to be talking, because that's where the improvement needs to come from big time.
Smart man.
And if they're going to be in the hunt for the playoffs, their defense is going to be twice as good as it was last year. And that's what I'd be watching real close, because you've also got a brand new coordinator that's putting his system in completely.
That's right.
And he lucked out and brought a couple of coaches with him and a few players with him that'll help the other players learn the system. So that's what I'm really going to watch. I'm going to watch the quarterback play,
Yep.
But it's going to take care of itself. You got two of the best freshman young quarterbacks in the country. One of them guys is going to come through. There's no doubt in my mind about that. They'll come through. They may not be Hendon Hooker in his second year, but they're going to be good football players. They're not going to, in my opinion, they're not going to fall off offensively. They'll be solid on offense.
When's the last time Josh Heupel threw a quarterback out there and he looked lost on the field? I'm going to ask a living listener that. Well, everybody that thinks it's some kind of big, thing that happened here in the courts here recently. When is the last time Josh Heupel threw a quarterback on the field and it was an issue?
His stuff is so quarterback friendly,
yes,
Tony, that he doesn't overdo them.
Yes.
He'll be simple just because of the quarterback, so he gets it better. So here's a great example to me, because I was on with you started about this time. Hendon Hooker got beat out, and because he couldn't handle deep enough into the system. Well, then the other guy gets hurt. Now he's got to play. So what did Josh do? He simplified big time. Because he said, he can't do this, he can't do this, he can't do this yet. So he simplified through the rest of that year. But by the time it came around to the next year,
yes,
it was a complete package, and they're up and down the field and killing everybody, scoring a ton of points. So right there's the prime example. Everybody needs to take a deep breath. He's not going to put a quarterback out there that can't handle what he's going to do, which is one of my great respects for Josh, because that's the first thing I always said offensively to my coaches. We cannot do anything our quarterback can't do. I don't care what you've had in the past, what you like. You better be doing what your quarterback can do and adjust everybody else around that.
Hey, Cinco, are you open to the possibility? And by the way, Watson Brown presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Listen, a beef brand built on quality. Simpson's Meats raises and sources their meat from farms on pasture on purpose, comfortably continuing a tradition that began in 1888. And, Coach, another shipment's on the way to you. You'll be glad to know, right off Jim Simpson's farm. Whether it's steak or burgers or sausages, roast, chicken, they've got a variety of local offerings at their butcher shop, from milk to honey to jam to eggs and more. Stop by and taste the best from our Tennessee community. Remember, gift boxes are available. You can ship premium meats anywhere at simpsonsmeats.com. A great choice with the Easter season upon us as well. Visit their store, West Knoxville off Level Road, and shop today. Cinco, are you open to the possibility that when it comes to our quarterbacks, we could use both of them with various packages this year? Could they do that now that we've got some runway and we don't have a veteran player there? Could they mix and match these guys? Sean Sinclair.
Sure, why not? I mean, the precedent's already been set. I mean, I know they're in real time different classes, but they're both going to be freshmen. And I'm not talking about the white African-American thing here, but you had Eric Ainge and Brent Schaefer.
Yep.
Were freshmen. And you got, just seems similar that, the George McIntyre and Faison Brandon. I don't know who's the runner, who's the pro guy, drop back guy. That's to be settled, but why not? And, it's back in the day when kids didn't come in for spring ball, they graduated with their high school class. Yep. I think Schaefer and Ainge both graduated with their high school class. Randy Sanders got two true freshmen ready for that opening day, and they were competent quarterbacks. So, yeah, why not?
Watson, what do you think? Could you do a deal where you kind of grow both of them that way?
I believe that you could play two some, but one's got to be the starter.
Sure.
You've got to have one come through because you need that leadership.
Yep.
And you just need that. So playing two a little bit, the second one some during the game, I'm not against.
Yep.
But I don't like going into the season with two that neither one are the starter yet.
No. I'm not saying
that. That one of them hadn't come through.
No, I'm just saying.
Just hadn't done.
I'm just saying you keep the other
I'm not
involved.
Against it. I've done that.
Keep the other involved, right, Watson? That's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I've even gone as far one year where I had a receiver that was a quarterback in high school, and I would play him in certain series, maybe 2 series a game, or maybe on first down he'd pop in and the quarterback would be out wide or something like that. So I've done a lot of that, but I do believe in a starting quarterback, and work most of the offense around that starting quarterback.
I mean, this freaking Kelly Holcomb yesterday, Watson, I could have raged on his cage. I'm sitting there getting ready to go in and play music.
So mad at Kelly.
Well, listen, I'm getting ready. I'm sitting ready to get in and play music at Calhoun's. I got half my gear in my hand. I'm talking to Georgie on the phone, and Kelly goes, "What about the wide receiving core? I mean, tell me about them. 2 practices in the." I'm like, Kelly. I wanted to say Kelly. Now, when you were at middle, if I'd asked you about the wide receiving core, 2 practices in the spring ball, what would you have said to me? What is wrong with you, man? It's Kelly Holcomb. Watson, you need to take him under wing, man.
Kelly is good. I'm telling you, he's good. You wouldn't have it any other way. You got to have somebody you can get on. So I mean,
well, no question. Kevin
is perfect for you.
Oh, he's great. Hey, question for you. So Lane Kiffin's trying to put an offensive line together in spring. They were horrible last year.
Yeah.
Florida's got a young quarterback they're introducing to the deal. Tennessee has 2 young quarterbacks they're introducing to a deal. Just speaking of offense, given your druthers, would you rather have an offensive line that you're trying to grow in the spring, quarterbacks you're trying to grow in the spring, receivers you're trying to grow in the spring? What's the toughest putt there, Coach?
The toughest things to get done and get it like you want it is the first 2 things you mentioned. Running backs, receivers are the easiest to teach. They'll pick it up quicker, even though Tennessee's is a little more complicated with adjustments they got to run. But offensive line and quarterback are the 2 places that is the hardest to get it down. They see so much. Those are the 2 complicated positions to play. With the offensive lines, all of the adjusting they have to do nearly as the ball's being snapped or right before the ball's being snapped. And then the physicality right after that ball snap.
Yeah.
Offensive line, and they have to do so much. I mean, think about the difference in a run block and pass protection. You're talking about 2 different worlds. So they're tough, and of course the quarterback's very tough. But you can get all of this ready now because of what they let you do in the summer that you used to couldn't do. You're with those guys all summer now. You're teaching, you're coaching them. They're watching tape. I mean, it's a different world. There is no doubt in my mind. That's why this transfer portal hasn't looked as ugly as some of them would have thought it would have been. If they had the rules they had back 10 years ago, where you couldn't do anything with them in the summer till the practice started in late July.
Impossible.
Good gracious, you'd have a mess right now. But what they get to do with them after spring ball, from there to your first day of practice, is unbelievable difference.
You know what I love, though, guys? Is that even with all that player movement, there's still an unknown quality to this. There's still been teams that have come out of nowhere. And the reason they come out of nowhere is there are teams that have loaded rosters. For instance, Texas this year. There's no guarantee Texas puts it together. Texas could have internal issues. They could have an injury here, an injury there. They could have a few bad breaks. That's the thing about football compared to its basketball counterpart. You get a few bad breaks, you lose a few games early, and all of a sudden, you're treading water. You got to play from behind. And you just never know, Watson. And the football thing, it's almost like it takes us 5 or 6 weeks to kind of realize what everybody has.
Yes, and football is that sport you can't lose early. And now it's a little better with the playoffs being deepened a little bit to 12, but you can't lose early. So you it's not like basketball where you can kind of tinker around before Christmas and all of that, and then all of a sudden you get into conference play and you get hot and you start winning. It's just a different world, and that's why these rule changes in the summer are so big to me, to where it fits with the transfer portal. I mean, last year a team in the playoffs, I think it was, maybe it's Texas, I can't remember, had 72 new faces.
72.
I saw the other day where Tennessee had 42 new faces.
Yep.
In spring practice.
That's on the low end.
42 new
That's
faces
the low
at
end.
a place like the University of Tennessee. That's unheard of.
It's low end. It's low end.
Unheard of in the past, man.
Yep.
You just it wasn't that way. You built a team. All of a sudden, that freshman is a junior.
Yep.
He is now one of your leaders. He's been in the program for 3 years.
Yep.
Blah blah blah. That's gone. It's history. And so now these are a different way. That's why you just absolutely can't put much into early spring practice. I don't think you can put much into late spring practice because they're still learning. They're brand new. 42 players are hearing stuff for the first time at Tennessee. Plus, all those defensive players that are still there are hearing things for the first time.
That's right.
At Tennessee. So take a deep breath, everybody, and enjoy the process and watch it. And as it gets close to that first game, really start studying it then.
Because Sean had a really great point, which is, you look at the film out of spring ball, right, and you got people want to break it down, and that's great. Everybody needs content, and everybody got to make a living, and I have no problem with any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, at the end of it all, you have to take it all into context. And I'm not going to get fooled again. I don't think you can make conclusions till the season's a month long. We can sit there. Watson, last week, Vegas put a total out after we talked. And the total they put on Tennessee's season was 6.5 wins, Watson. That's the total. That's the over-under bet.
That's selling something, wanting people to read it or hear it or whatever, because they have no clue. That's a joke. They have no clue what Tennessee's going to be.
No.
You bring in 42 new players, and you've got 2 really good freshman quarterbacks, and you're sitting here telling them how many they're going to win? Give me a break. I mean, and everybody else is doing it too. So everybody's got new teams. I mean, good gracious, look at LSU. I don't know how many he's brought in so far, but he's not done yet. I can tell you that.
Oh, he's not done. That's exactly right. He's bringing the silent
summer.
transfers in. That's
right.
right.
There's going to be a receiver too that maybe even at Tennessee that you don't even know about. Right?
Yep.
So just take a deep breath and enjoy the process. Tennessee will not just win 6.5 games. That's not happening. That's not going to happen.
Watson, you're my man. Talk to me about this tournament. Talk to me about how head-spinning it must be for you to see Vanderbilt being a player in all these sports. They've got a real basketball program. I think they've got a real chance to get to the Sweet 16, and they're going to get across from that Florida team again, and they match up well with them. And next week we could be on here talking about how it's going to be them and Florida in the Sweet 16, and if that comes to pass, it's going to be a hellacious basketball game.
You're talking about Vanderbilt. I promise you, when Florida saw the bracket, they cringed. They cringed when they saw Vanderbilt sitting there, because Florida's weakness, and they don't have a weakness, but the weakest part is their guard play, and that's Vanderbilt's strength.
That's right.
And so Vanderbilt matches them really well, and Vanderbilt's got enough underneath inside players that they can roll them in and out and hang with those big guys. And they can pack it down, and they're going to make the guards beat you. They're going to make the guards at Florida beat you. They're not going to let those big guys beat you. And Florida has trouble matching those guards. They really struggle with penetration in the last game. They really struggle with penetration. And then the second piece of Vanderbilt is the women. I promise you, UConn. I promise
she's
you,
a great
had
coach.
A heart attack when they were put in the same spot. Vanderbilt's a 5, I think, and men, but there are 4 women. And so UConn and Vanderbilt are going to play, and I promise you, he don't want to play them with his former player and coach on the opposite side from him over there. That she's licking her chops to get a shot at her old boss. I'm telling you, both Vanderbilts, when it popped up on the screen, I said, oh, gracious, these ones on this side now are not excited about what they're seeing.
Hey, Brian Hartman, you laugh at this. That Shea Ralph can really coach, man. She's a real one, Bri. She
No, she's
and they
good.
got young backcourt there. Bri, from your perspective, she's really good, Brian. Really good, Brian Hartman. Brian Fowles a sport coach.
Yeah. Well, how often and they used to beat them all the time, is Kim Caldwell coach team going to beat her and that team? I would say.
Let me help you out with that.
They do well to win 1 out of 5.
Yeah, let me help you out. Not much, because one can really coach and one has a system they run. This Shea Ralph can really coach. I mean, this Vanderbilt program is cooking with grease right now, Coach.
Yeah. No, Vanderbilt's
spending that money.
It's money. Money, guys.
Spending that money, man.
Vanderbilt's got money, and
yes,
they got
do.
a city for these kids to make more money. And all of a sudden, Vanderbilt goes from the bottom of the pile to up toward the middle up, in my opinion, because they've got things they've never had before. The other thing to me that I think is scary in this bracket is her system is Gino's system.
Yep.
That's what she's brought up. She's never coached for anybody but him.
Yeah, they say that Connecticut has an eye on her.
She's teaching things exactly in a culture way, in a technique way. Yep. All the things are what Connecticut's been doing for years, and I promise you, he knows that.
I'll tell you this.
She knows their system well.
Vanderbilt has 2 hot commodity coaches in both those sports, because she's a hot commodity. And you told me this Byington guy when they first hired him, and you played that game at a pretty high level, hoops. This guy can coach the game. This guy knows what he's doing now.
Composure, his poise.
I think I just lost Watson. That's my man.
You got me?
Yeah, go ahead. You were talking about his composure and his poise. You're right.
Yeah, I think I like his composure on game day, his poise, and both of them. Both of the Vanderbilt coaches, I like that about them.
Yeah.
And I can watch a lot of these other coaches. I think basketball more than football, because everybody on the floor sees the coach. The football feels just a little different, but everybody on the floor sees that coach. And if the coach is wild and crazy and running up and down, and the team plays like the coach acts. If you watch a lot of these, and you'll see it in these tournaments, just watch the coach's mannerisms on the sidelines and watch the teams play. It's amazing how they mirror image their coach.
By the way, on the way out, Coach, I want to shout out Stephen L. Pearl. You know, they told me when we did our draw show Sunday that there's no way that Vanderbilt's going to take part in the NIT. And Stephen Pearl was quoted as saying, if somebody invites us to a tournament, we're going to play in it. Now, I think we belonged in the NCAA tournament. They played in the NIT last night, right, Brian? And they won a game. Who'd they play, like San Antonio or somebody?
They played South Alabama, and they beat them by 11 points.
And here's the point. You got to give the guy a lot of credit, because he could have taken his ball and gone home, which is what a lot of teams do now with the NIT. They sneer at it and they snivel at it. That shows me something, Watson, from that young coach era.
It does me too, and it's the same thing I don't like about football. In these bowls, if you're not in the playoffs and pulling out, and players pulling out and all that, I haven't noticed any players pulling out in the Auburn basketball, whatever. So basketball doesn't seem to pull out the same. And the football, they use the injury bill, and I get it. I understand to a point. But you play the whole season, they got hurt. I mean, Go play one more game with your team if you're going to do that. I mean, I struggle with that a little bit, even though I have to defend them doing it.
Yep.
I can't get on them about it. But if it's me and I'm a player, boy, it would take a lot for my agent to convince me not to play in the last game with my team.
Watson, you're my main man. I love you. I appreciate you. When we're talking next week, will the Tennessee Volunteers be dancing? Are they going to win 2 in this tourney?
Oh, I'm not. It depends on the health. I mean, I read where Emmett was decent. He didn't totally have his quickness, but he was a little better than I thought he'd be. And then I read where Coach Barnes said if we'd have won that game with Vanderbilt, I'm not sure he'd have played the next
That's
night.
correct. That's not good, is it? That's got me worried.
He's not going to get well through this tournament.
That's exactly right.
And I just don't see Tennessee how far they can go he is so important to them offensively.
He's everything.
In shooting and rebounding and penetrating and dishing and all the things he does. Without him being 100%, I just can't. Even though defense all of a sudden starts showing in this tournament. It does. It starts showing.
Yep.
And that's why I brought up defense about football. You get to the playoffs, every one of those teams play defense. Anybody got in that top 12 play defense. And so this is, you talk about offense all through the year, but defense wins championships.
Yes.
And it always has, and it always will. That's why I've always said passing teams win a lot of games. And if they're all out, just wide open pass, but they don't win championships. Just don't win championships very often. And so it goes right back to that defense and not making mistakes, and Tennessee does that. So we'll see.
You're the man. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. The great Watson
Okay,
Brown.
guys. Always an honor.
You are an honor and a pleasure. Hey, Brian, Watson usually rubber stamps Vol wins. He didn't rubber stamp Tennessee getting through Sunday. Did you notice that? Even he's not rubber stamping. And that's why, Griff yesterday, when I asked him on the Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch Happy Time Hoops Hour, and he's a recipient of the 2026 Pat Summit Award for his work with youth down through the years, and that's a wonderful thing to recognize in Mark Griffin, because that is absolute truth. That's a man who pours himself into others, and we're so proud to have him on here. But even Watson Brown kind of paused there, because when you see a guy beat up, it's hard to go against Mother Nature, Bri. And our team just looks kind of beat up and worn down. Now, maybe they get to the second season, and maybe they get their second win, You got to hope that's what happens. Shout out to my friends at Simpson's Meats. One more time, maybe you are looking for a half cow or a quarter cow. You want to buy in bulk, they got you covered. But you're going to get meat there that's sourced and raised on farms, on pasture, on purpose, comfortably continuing a tradition that began in 1888 on Jim Simpson's family farm. And, hey, Bri, I got a couple timeouts. I got a 5-minute. Hey, Cinco, somebody called me saying G-Max tapeworm in here just told me to quit blowing Vandy. Cinco, is it blowing Vandy to acknowledge that they've put it on us and they're spending money in these sports? Is that blowing them, Cinco? Do you consider that blowing them, Cinco?
I don't even want to tell you what I consider what Diego Pavia did to us in Neyland Stadium.
Okay, well, so to G-Max tapeworm, you're getting a 5-minute timeout. See, this is the way this works. That's a 5-minute penalty for you.
You think about your actions, young man.
How about NECA Dave jumping in here and saying to me, is this a Vanderbilt? Is this a Vanderbilt call-in show now? Hey, NECA Dave, you're getting a 10-minute timeout because you're a repeat offender, you clown. Wow. So NECA Dave gets 10 minutes, and Nick Jackson's in here is making a lot of sense. And the sense is this. During the Josh Heupel era, okay, people telling me I was crazy about my quarterback take, and, we had to have our quarterback back from last year, who's an okay player. He performed like an average SEC quarterback. They're going to get that from one of these two guys. Yes or no, Sean? That's my take. That's my take.
Someone will play, and they will be fine.
Thank you. You know why they're going to be fine? Because since Josh Heupel's been here, they've always been fine at quarterback. Now,
here's the other reason. Sorry to step on you there. It's because urgency is the number one thing that you get when you have a situation like this. Would these kids be ready if Joey? No, they wouldn't even be close to being ready. But when you have to be ready, that's when everyone steps up. When the urgency is that the big lights come on and you're taking the first snap, or you're taking the second, whatever it is, that's when the urgency starts. And the same thing when the coaches don't look at the second and third team guy the same as the presumptive starter. They just don't. Nobody does on the team.
And Nick Jackson says, I think a lot of people would have rather started Joe based on practice, but he did not stick with Hooker when they got both on the field in games. Of course they stuck with Hooker. Look, Hooker wasn't a great, apparently, practice player. And somebody else made a point in our chat, neither was Josh Dobbs back in the day. Okay, fine. Here's the thing about quarterback play. Under this coach, you're going to be good enough to win games. They worked around Nico. They worked around him. Was he great? No. Was he terrible? No. Was he what you thought he was and I thought he was? Hell no. Is he ever going to be that? No. That's okay. Could he make an NFL roster one day? Sure. Sure. He's not going to be a first-round pick, though, like some of you thought. Like, people, when he left, well, we're letting a first-round pick. No, we're not. We didn't let a first-round pick walk away. We called him and Big Nick's bluff. There was no room at the end. USC didn't jump at them like they thought. Oregon, not only did Oregon not poach him off our team, but Dan Lanning picked the phone up and called Josh Heupel and said, hey, man, I just got a curious phone call. Think about that for a second. How's that for just saying this kid sucks, you suck, like Brian Hartman in the blog today about a couple teams. You suck, you suck, you suck. Brian, who are the teams this year that didn't make it in women's or men's basketball from our league?
Oh, and Auburn and Mississippi State didn't make a bowl game in football and didn't make either basketball tournament.
That's you ugly, you ugly, you ugly. I mean,
but Auburn did win an NIT game last night. So.
Oh, I mean, hell.
Mississippi State didn't even do that.
That washes it all away. That washes it all away. That's the other thing. You know, here's the thing about the Nico era. I wanted so badly to believe that I believed everything that was fed. Everything that was fed to me, I believed. Everything fed to me. I believed.
I think they wanted to believe so bad, too. That's why they fed it out.
And I passed it on to you. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm just not. You're never going to come on and hear me proclaim a guy ready at quarterback to take the reins and be the next great thing. I will never, and I mean ever, do that again on here. I can promise you I will never do that. You want to know why? Because it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. And you don't know if you got that swing till you get in a real football game. You can do it. You know, the Polynesian Prince was a world beater against air. Incredible athlete. Probably, truth be told, probably could be an Olympic level volleyball player if he went out there and played, they say. I mean, a guy that could jump as high as he wanted to jump. And if he was hanging out in Hawaii right now, he could probably hang 10 with a 45-foot wave, truth be told. Probably do whatever he needed to do in that habitat. But he couldn't function on a football field. Hey, you know, God bless the guy, as we say in the South. But he couldn't play. He couldn't play. And they worked around him and won 10 games. So let's everybody just kind of calm down. Again, my bigger fish to fry with the football team is the defense going to lock in under this first-year coordinator who likes to scramble his eggs and then put them back together? And I just don't think in year one, I don't have a great expectation that they're going to be together. Now, maybe they are. I love the guy. He's from Philly. He's a Philly guy. He's a Philly guy, and he likes coffee and $5. He's like a Philly guy. But we'll come back on the other side and I want to hear from you at 865-200-5402. Well, listen, for the first time today, we open up the phone lines. We'll do a little overtime, your time, my time, our time, overtime. The other night, Matt Diskin and I are such sickos that we watched the end of the Georgia game with you. If you go back and listen to Friday night's post game after the Georgia game, last hour of that was us watching a thrilling baseball win together. Cinco, that was a really fun sporting event Friday night, the Vols winning at Georgia. Great baseball game.
I thought all three games were great. We didn't come out on top, but as far it was just a throat slasher.
Yeah.
Watching him go over that, the true freshman with the receding hairline, no comment. But
that was an incredible catch, wasn't it?
Over the, come on.
Come on, man.
That's incredible drama.
Incredible. Our catcher slams his bat down. He is channeling. He's channeling the Vols of yesteryear. All that arrogance. They come running out of the dugout, and the kid brings it back in. It's a great story, by the way. Over on YouTube, Wayne Emery says, TB, you did go overboard on the Vandy love. Did I? They beat the hell out of us in football. They beat us twice in a week in basketball, and they beat the hell out of us in women's basketball last time we were on the floor. Now, I don't know what you want from me. And we got to go play them in a week down there in Danny's got an everything school. Yeah, Danny's beating us in everything. And they're spending a lot of money to do it. And I pointed that out to a guy that used to be there that had limited resources and was playing with a fork in his hand when everybody else had a handgun. Are you kidding? I can't point that out? That's giving them too much love? If that hurts your virgin ears, I'm sorry. But as a wise man once said, I didn't do it, Danny White. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors we're liquidating. Supercore is the best waterproof floor with a lifetime warranty. Where are you going to find that anywhere else? Nowhere, let me tell you. $1.79, lifetime warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer and let's make a deal.
You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest, finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. G-Max Tapeworm and Nega Dave have now re-entered the chat. Life is a better thing. We're back with you. We're getting ready to head to overtime. We've got a couple calls that are going to get on. If you want to talk, 865-200-5402. We've got room for a few more. The playbook with William Pattison on the way next. But before we depart, there is we have another name change, Bri, in our lexicon. Bring us up to speed on this. We got breaking news here. Another name change on the Hill.
We had one in football, Garantano. We had one in basketball, Vescovy and Vescovi. And now we got one in baseball, Manny Marin or Manny Marin.
Cinco, mute yourself there. Or somebody.
Which is it, Manny Marin or Manny Marin?
Yeah, somebody. Cinco needs to mute himself there. Was it Marin or what is it? Marin or Marin? What have we decided on, Bri?
I want to say Marin, but the announcer, I heard the highlights of Friday night's game, and he kept saying Manny Marin.
And Tony Vols called him Manny Marin, apparently, a bunch. So why are we calling him Marin if his name's Marin? And by the way, there is a county out there in Northern California. Great musicians come out of there. Marin County gave us The Dead. Marin County gave us my boys, Huey Lewis and the News. Marin County gave us Jefferson, Airplane back in the day, and all that great stuff, all kinds of great music. Bill Graham came out of Marin County. So many incredible musicians out of Marin. I love Marin. Tower of Power. They were more from Oakland, but still, I mean, that kind of area out there. So what are we doing here, Bri? What are we settled on? And is it Garantano or Garantano? What's he go by now?
I think it's Garantano.
I think it's Garantano, Bri. I think he changed it. I think it was Garantano. Because we used to call him Garanton Pro. Do you remember? And then he went with Garantan, and it didn't work as well. Garantan Pro didn't work as well. And was it Vescovy or Vescovi? What did we settle on?
It was Vescovi when he came in and Vescovy when he left.
It really confuses me, Sean. I don't know which one I'm stuck on.
I thought you called him Garantanimo.
Or Gitmo.
Stop it, Brian. My gosh. The guy is now a member of the Fourth Estate. Y'all are piling on the guy. I love him, and I'm for him, not against him. He's a very, very, very good broadcaster. He probably going to appear on here, but I love him. Jared, if you're listening, you're a fellow Paisan. And there's only two kinds of people in this world, Paisans and those that want to be. William Pattison ain't a Paisan, but boy, he wants to be. He's up next with the playbook.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Oh, yeah. So we back to the phones. Who was it? Salty Vol said he's a super fan of Huey Lewis. Listen, I saw Huey Lewis in '84 at the Mann Music Center in Philly, and it was kind of life-changing for me. They were phenomenal. The harmonies, the way those guys played and the harmonies they sung with, and then they had an element of they would stretch out and let Chris Hayes go and play long solos. They weren't jukeboxy like Skynyrd was live. Skynyrd was jukeboxy live. These guys would play. And then Huey was a great harmonica player, so he would travel all over Europe. Hugh Craig is his real name. He would travel all over Europe, and he would busk and paid for himself. And I saw them with the Tower of Power horns in '84. That's exactly right, Salty Vol. I saw them with it. And as a kid, I didn't know what I was seeing. I was 17 years old. But I know now what I was seeing, and I know that it had a great impact on me. And I love those guys. Just great American music, great rock and roll, mixed with a little bit of jazz, mixed with a little bit of R&B. Sean Hopper is they came out of a group called Soundhole. You can find some Soundhole online. There's a couple Soundhole shows that are online featuring a young Sean Hopper. Incredible. Bill Gibson, their drummer, was in that band as well. I love that West Coast music. So if Manny wants to be Manny Marin from now on, which harkens Marin County, I'm for that, not against it. I don't know what they're calling the guy, Sean, but he is hitting the damn cover off the baseball. Did you see that coming with Manny Marin, Cinco? This kind of resurgence.
The potential was always there. He was, a USA high school, Team USA guy.
Yep.
So it's all, and I know he was a big get for Vitello. It was somewhat of a surprise that he showed up here.
Yep.
Last year he played the whole year, kind of, the backdrop of some other guys, but I was discouraged early in the year when he was really slumping. But man, he's on fire.
Manny Marin.
Andy's you know what? He's had a couple boots, but he's a competent shortstop.
Yep. Hey, Salty Vol, I got a bunch of Huey Lewis shows laying around. I got one when they were Huey Lewis and the American Express, which is very hard to find. I don't know if you have that, but if you want, reach out to me. I'll burn you a copy. It was a great, great show. They do a tune on there called They All Come to Susie When They Run Out of Line. They all come to Susie. It's a great jam, man. Those guys were so good. So good. In fact, they were better before they got signed. They were so good when they first formed. They had that you ever hear that, Sean, when you find your favorite bands and you go back and listen to early stuff, how they had that hunger in their music? You remember that, Cinco? Like they had that hunger. You could feel that hunger before they climbed the top of the mountain, when they're live especially.
Yeah, well, that's what usually the first album's usually one of, if not the best, because they've had their whole lives, to distill it down, and those are their best songs. And then that's where you get the sophomore slump. You never want that. But I mean, I don't know if Van Halen 1 just kicked me right in the jimmies.
There you go.
I don't know that I've ever recovered from hearing that first note of Eruption, first chord, I guess.
Well, I was talking to a buddy today who told me that, the thing, we're talking about live music, and we're talking about, he said, I've never not felt, it was Marcos Garza. He said, the ability to play music is like a superpower. He said, I can't imagine what that's like. And I said, well, I don't do it very well, but I did have the thought last night when I was playing, and there were a pretty good crowd there on the deck at Calhoun's on the river, and it was cold, so it wasn't like it could have been. If it would have happened a week before and it was 75 degrees outside, that would have been just splendid. But the thought did occur to me that, God, man, what an absolute blessing it is to just be playing and hanging out with, and just playing music, and just, wow. I mean, and I was thinking about dearly departed Matt Hanken, who passed away, got the news yesterday, and just what a blessing it is to be here, and all the heavy stuff that's happened. And I was thinking about how Matt was a gospel singer at one time, traveled the country, and he and I talked about music. I love Matt. Laura and I used to own a weather network. We sold it to Matt. When I went to work at, let's see, that would have been, I owned that weather network in the late 90s, and I would have gone to work, South Central Radio, like 1998. I couldn't do both. And what
is a weather network?
So I bought it from Don Carson, who was on CNN at one time. He had a brief stop here. He built this thing up to 45 radio stations. Back then, what we did is we had a phone line and we had a setup that sounded pretty good. This is pre-internet, basically, where our meteorologist, and we employed Matt Hanken and the Channel 6 meteorologist. We called it the East Tennessee Weather Network. They would call this number and update it 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. And then Laura and I would compensate them for it. And I would go out, my entrepreneurial young self, and sell the advertising for it. And
how about that?
Yeah, and it was a way for us to create some sustenance at a time.
So what was the product? People would call in to get the current weather?
Radio stations. And they would record it and put it on their airwave, and it would say, I'm Matt Hanken for the East Tennessee Weather Network. We had Matt Hanken on there. We had Ken Weathers on there. Scott Blaylock was on there. Yeah. And we contracted through the TV6 people. That was 30 years ago. But let me tell you something about Matt Hanken. we loved him so much, that we basically gave him that network. We didn't like hold him up. I just thought so much of him and the Christian man that he was and at the time, and just the good person that he was, and how he just took so much care of what we were doing that it was just a no-brainer when it came time to part with it. And so when I heard that yesterday, and I knew what just a difficult time he had health-wise, I just I raise a glass for Matt Hanken. I love Matt Hanken. So R.I.P. to Matt Hanken, and to his family and friends out there, his son and his family and friends, my deepest condolences. Just a guy that I love. And I thought about him last night when I was playing music. I was like, it's all so fast and it's all so fleeting, but it means so much to have the chance to live. There are just so many little gifts in life if we just look for them, and so rest in peace to Matt Hanken. But let's go ahead and go back to the phones. 865-200-5402. And Tony B., the caller, in the middle of all that, says calls. And so Tony B., the caller, after our little tender moment, is going to get a 10-minute timeout. 10-minute misconduct for him. Cinco, do you like the way we mete out penalties over on YouTube? Are you into that?
Oh, I'm so for it. I can't stand it. I love it.
Michael Moat said...
I'm waiting for your first double major.
Michael Moat said, I was a member over at Grace Baptist Church. We were going there at the time, and Matt Hanken would share his singing voice. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that he sung in church. I did know that he was a member. I want to say the Jordanaires or it wasn't the Kingdom Heirs. What was the group he sung with? I guarantee it's going to be in his obituary, but he traveled the country. He was a graduate of Kansas State. And on the air back in the day, I used to call him Stinky Hinky. And when I was on in the afternoon, he would call my show and mess with me. And we would mess around with each other. And people didn't know that we owned that weather network at the time, but he's such a beautiful guy. Hello and welcome in. You're on our, what is this, Wednesday edition.
Geno Muppet.
See, Brian, after all that, people wonder why the phone calls, Brian, they wonder why.
That's a 20-minute stint right there.
Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Well, hello, Tony.
Well, that's why we go to the calls, for calls like this and not that previous, whatever that was.
Small Mike.
Small mind, as we say in the trade.
I just remember back in the day, he used to call Bill King all the time.
That's him.
So.
Bill King was the only only show in the state that would take his calls.
Absolutely. So
total reprobate, mental midget moron.
Before we talk a little football, Tony, I was going to ask you a music thing.
Hit it.
So, there's so much music we could talk about bands. What did you think about, because I know his life ended well before, he really got started great, Jim Croce. What do you think about his music?
I absolutely love him. He's an American storyteller. He's a Pennsylvania kid and went to New York, to find his fame and fortune. Found a guitar player named Maury Muehlheisen, who's just an incredible compliment to him. Two really talented guys. Just a great singer. I think Operator is one of the greatest songs that's ever been written. It's just so beautiful. And I have to love you in a song, but even like things like Photograph and Memories. He wrote a song called about New York City where he says, New York's not my home. And it's just so profound because it's a kid just saying, hey, I got to get back to the country. I got to get out of here. This is just not a part of who I am. And so I love Jim Croce. Love him. An American storyteller. And you're so right. His life cut short. Airplane crash, I want to say in Louisiana is where he passed away.
Yeah. And, between that and is there any worse story than what happened to Badfinger?
Oh, no. No, Peter Ham and all that? No.
That was a shame.
No.
I actually like Badfinger, too. I got a lot of the music on my phone. So
Incredible. That was the Apple record label. Paul McCartney sort of produced them. How talented is Paul McCartney when that's his side project, Badfinger? How talented is he? Seriously. Think about that.
Absolutely. So, well, hey, little football. As you and Doc are sitting there talking everything about the quarterback situation. Here we are in spring practice and everything. But going back, I guess in the wintertime, Tony, I was one of the few. I was on board of not wanting Joe Aguilar back because I said that 2026 is always and was going to be one of those years where you were going to be rebuilding for 2027 season. And I wanted us to go ahead and play one of the talented young kids because it's all about building towards 27 and not about thinking we can win a championship in 26. So that was my take months and months ago. And so I'm glad to see that that's all come to fruition. And we're going to get a chance to see the young quarterbacks grow with a team that's very young, that's looking forward to 2027, seeing how we go. Now, like I said, I'm like you. I'm not giving up on this year, but I'm also a realist and understand where we are talent-wise and able to compete for championships versus the future and how young this football team is.
And Richard, people don't want to hear this, but the people in lost wages are not into giving money away. And when they put 6.5 by your name, Richard, they do it for a reason.
Oh yeah,
know what I mean? Doesn't offend me. It's just a number. It just doesn't mean that's what you're going to do. When they put 6.5 by your team for your win total, there's a reason it's 6.5.
Shoot, Tony. I mean, the fact that no SEC team went over 9.5, that just shows you what the league's going to be again this year.
That's exactly right.
I mean, and it's like you said, we are at a point now where coaching changes are going to be every couple of years because fans are not going to put up with 6-6, 7-5 years. Even when you got a pretty good football team, you still go 7-5 just because everybody else in the league has money and has good talent as well. And it's just going to be that kind of thing. You're going to have 8 or 9 games every year that can easily go either way on your schedule because of the talent all these teams are accumulating with the money they got.
Well, and that brain donor Dave is on our chat right now attacking us. But, Richard, just because you click your heels together doesn't mean you're going to win 9 games every year. It's going to be very, very hard to do that in this league from now on. As we saw, no team, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, no team in that release last week had a 10-win deal, or was it 2 of them that had 10 wins?
No, it was 9.5 was the highest.
Thank you.
One of them.
Thank you. And it used to be some years, Richard, they would have Georgia or Alabama would have 11 wins. That was the win total you had to bet on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, and I'm like you. And for Tennessee this year, not only we have 9 SEC games, but Georgia Tech and that head coach they play a physical grind of football like the SEC does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a grinder down there in Atlanta. So basically we have a hard 10-game schedule with 2 teams that we will run out of the
totally agree.
Stadium. But yes, it's going to be a fun year and just how it all plays out. But yeah, I just wanted to just call in. I ain't talked in a while. Go Vols. I think we're going to the Sweet 16. I have faith and confidence that the guys are all going to put it together, and we're going to go through Virginia and get to the Sweet 16 and play that Iowa State team, which I think is a little too tough for us. But
Richard, you're the man, and it would be a great, and I mean a great season and a very good accomplishment to get this team to the Sweet 16, which is another thing people don't want to hear. So I don't know why they don't want to hear that, why you just can't admit that getting to the Sweet 16 this year, which, Brian, would mean 4 Sweet 16 appearances in a row. Yes, Brian?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, I think, has something like 8 in a row, or they've been there 10 of 11 years or something like that, which is crazy. But 4 in a row, I don't think maybe Houston and Bama have a chance to do that. Besides Tennessee.
Cinco, it doesn't bother you that we are what we are, right? with the 6.5, the over/under in football, and kind of building toward 2027. Does that bother you?
Yeah, it bothers me a great deal.
Oh.
I mean, we should a program that's funded like this, and so you go to the playoff, you're kind of on a pendulum high there, and then last year comes about, and then now you've got a second rebuilding year. Yeah, I got a huge problem with that.
Ask a question, get an answer. Hello and welcome in. You're live on our overtime. Hello?
Oh,
yeah, hi.
Bobby. Sorry about that.
Hey, you're on. Welcome in, brother.
Long time no talkie. Hey, you were talking, you and Sean, whenever you guys start talking music, by the way, I have such high respect for your guys' team when it comes to that. If you guys mention a band I've never really listened to, their early stuff, I'll go listen to it. So Huey Lewis in the News was Huey Lewis in the what beforehand, Tony?
Huey Lewis and the American Express.
I'm going to check them out. I'm a Huey Lewis guy. I didn't realize that he had like a band before that. So I don't know if you know this about me, Tony. In the late 90s and early 2000s, I worked at the Disc Exchange. Did you know that?
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Wow. I always wanted to work at a record store.
Long story long, we used to get these bands in before anybody knew who they were. And there were two that always stood out, really three, but two guys that stood out. And I became like just all in, and everybody's going to make fun of me, and that's fine. One of the guys that stood out, he was touring on an album, his first EP called Inside Wants Out. And his name was John Mayer, and he was one of the most proficient guitar players I had ever seen in my life.
Wow, you saw a young John Mayer. What year would that have been?
99, late 99, early 2000.
Justin
like he
Carpenter
hadn't even released
Justin Carpenter's freaking out right now. Justin Carpenter, who listens to the show, he's marking out right now, hearing that in 99, what Disc Exchange would this have been?
I was at, all the concerts were held at West, so it was at the West Disc Exchange. But they would have private concerts for all of us.
All right.
Like the people who work there. And he would come in, and then he would play like his secondary VIP show after it. And I looked at my friends that I was working with, like, has anyone ever heard of this guy? And they're like, no. And then we looked at his stuff, and he already had some like, some burn stuff, if you will, some off the chart stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was playing stuff like Wind Cries Mary and stuff like that from his Exit In shows in Atlanta. And we're like, holy freaking smokes, who is this alien? That was awesome. And then a guy named Mark Broussard, who I've talked about before.
Mark Broussard,
he might be the best. He might be the best soul singer, white dude soul singer you've never heard of.
Roberto, another guy you might want to look at. He's another Berkeley guy. Is Ian Thornley? He's a Sir guitarist, and he plays for. He started Big Wreck, a Canadian band.
Okay, I'll check him out.
Not the same genre, more of a harder rock. But that's a little-known band, and Ian Thornley's a just tremendous guitar player.
It's funny how many of those Berkeley guys come out, and people don't know they went to Berkeley school, and then the next thing you know, they're just ripping and melting faces, Sean. And then another band you ought to check out, I saw there. I'd never heard of them, and it was before Justin had his vocal cord surgery. It was the Darkness. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're kind of like an 80s hair metal throwback. They're really awesome, too.
The Darkness, and then, okay.
The Darkness. Yeah, it sounds like they're evil, but they're not. They're just really kitschy. They're like they're not this. They're more kitschy than the Strokes, but they're a lot like the Strokes. But anyways, I don't want to waste any more time with that. But yeah, if you want to hear a John Mayer at his finest, I think Inside Wants Out, which was his first EP in '99, is fantastic. Listen, and now he's the lead guitarist of Dead & Co. So go figure. Also, guys, just one kind of like sportsy question. I'm really good with the 6 seed, and I know a lot of people aren't, but I feel like our draw is really good. This is the first time I've gotten a call in. I've been gone with the family for vacation. Are we happy with this draw too? I'm kind of missed.
I love the draw, man. I love the draw. I just wish our team was healthy, because I don't think we are.
Yeah,
I think it's
I heard you say that the other day. Who might be dinged? Not to speculate wildly.
Well, the reason that Evans looks so bad in Nashville is he's got a bad ankle. And Nate Ament couldn't play back-to-back. But other than that, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I noticed that it felt like they held him out of that Vandy game more than he couldn't. Like they were like, you're not physically playing in this game. We got the win we want or whatever. All right. Well, guys, thanks for the time. And man, it was really cool to chat music with you boys.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, and by the way, G-Max Tapeworm says that I'm waving the white flag in March. No, I'm not, G-Max Tapeworm. I mean, at least I'm not in here saying that I ate 3,000 of George McIntyre's calories yesterday from his lunch. Brian, G-Max Tapeworm came in here yesterday and said that G-Mac had some souffle, 2 pieces of pizza, and washed it down with some chocolate pudding. He ate 2,000 of those calories. Brian, your thoughts on that? Do you have a thought on G-Max Tapeworm, Brian?
I try not to.
John Mayer is an interesting case because he's kind of a pretty face, right? And I'm not sure if his music's kind of my cup of tea. We're all a little different, but I know he's extremely talented. I'll tell you what's interesting about him. You talk to Grateful Dead fans that were like, oh, God, John Mayer is going to join the traveling circus here and keeping their music alive. And John Mayer.
Well, I think the thing with him is when he got out of Berkeley, I mean, he was a proficient guitar player, but he wanted to be a songwriter.
That's right.
And then he just went viral with his first couple of offerings, and then he became a bubblegum pinup star.
Yep.
And his daughters and all. I don't know his discography, but he just became a superstar that way. And I think in a way he really resented that. And for the next several years, he just went to woodshedding on the guitar, and is now just a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, just so much so that to get a PRS signature guitar and then one introduced for you. I mean, they basically created the Stratocaster for him. I mean, that's unreal.
And here's the truth about him. The Grateful Dead community, after they watched him, because they despised the fact that he was joining their ranks, really. And then they were like, oh, my God, this guy honors the music. He's got incredible chops. He can really play. I saw Todd Rundgren in an interview, and he won like the Guitar Player of the Year, whatever it was, Player of the Year, And Rundgren's like this low-key like genius, but somebody asked him in an interview, you're producing all this stuff, 70s and 80s, and you have all these things going on. Why in the world are you still like you have your outfit Utopia? And he said, oh, that's easy. I did that because I wanted to keep my chops. I wanted to keep my guitar skills. And if I had to play live, I had to continue to work at it.
So a lot of people don't. Rick Springfield,
great player,
won a guitar player, and he was the top guitar player in Australia.
Yep.
I'm not talking about AC/DC. I mean, he just like our own local guy, Andy Wood, who won a national, who is, by the way, a slain monster.
Yes.
By the way, Andy Wood. If you don't know, you need to know. But Rick Springfield, with Jesse's Girl and all that stuff. I mean, he won in Australia. Keith Urban, incredible guitar player, but people get blinded by the looks and the accent and stuff like that. You just never know.
Brad Paisley is a fellow Steely Dan head like I am. He's a Steely Dan head playing country music. If he was left to his own devices, he'd be playing like, and he could make money at it, he'd be playing jazz. That's what he'd be doing. But let's go back to the phones. Somebody's wondering, is Mayer behind Staub on our depth chart? Let's go back to the phones. As we get our next call in, so we mix the music with the sports and the entertainment, and it all kind of, I don't know. It's our third hour. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony Cinco. I saw Brad Paisley at the Grand Ole Opry when he got inducted several decades ago. That was pretty cool. That kid's done real well.
Taylor, you are doing an incredible job. With your TWIB report, brother. That stuff you're writing for the blog is liquid gold.
That's next level, Tony. It's fun. I enjoyed that 3-game series down in Athens. Although we had that surprising weather. Originally, it was supposed to be beautiful on Sunday, like the hottest, sunniest day, and turned into a steady monsoon for most of the game. It was that was not next level.
It looked like there was about 150 people there.
Well, I'll give Georgia credit. Most of their fans, they have a much larger overhang, or whatever you want to call it, than Tennessee built in their new stadium. So
I relate
most of them
to that.
Moved up.
I've been told that about myself, but go ahead.
But most of them moved up. But, yeah, not many stayed to the very, very bitter end. But I think they announced 3,000 people at most every game. But I thought was interesting, what is Tennessee going to do at second base? I know Cinco's pretty dialed in. Would love to know, Tony, your opinion. I think my opinion, and I'd love to know Cinco's, is I think they've given, every opportunity for a couple positions, shortstop, second base, and first base. Manny Marin, and it's Marin, not Marine, as the Georgia folks, I guess, called him. He's claimed shortstop, that's obvious. I would argue that Grimmer is claimed first base. And then second base is still up for grabs. I think they gave Myatt a pretty good opportunity. He hasn't shown that he can hit consistently. Same thing with Newstrom. What do you do now? I know Abernathy moving there gives you other opportunities, but that outfield defense of Garrett Wright and left, Abernathy in center, and Reese Chapman and right, there's a reason Georgia only had one double the whole weekend. If you'll watch those guys, they get to the ball so quickly and get it back into the diamond so quickly. Unless you're very fleet of foot, you're not going to get many doubles unless you've got a. So question, second base, what do you do there?
Sink, where you going? Second base. It stirs choices.
I think you just put the hottest bat there. You've been trying to find that guy, but the real issue is going to be is Garrett Wright's the best catcher on the team, and it's not even close. And so you put him behind the plate. I mean, they have a love affair with Levi Clark, I guess, and I'm not trying to rip him either, but they had to move Henry Ford to third to get Clark in there. Garrett Wright's the best catcher on the team. Are you going to put him out in left field with his? I mean, he's got a major league arm as a catcher. So who knows? But you're right. They've put everybody at second. It doesn't seem to be so far this year, I haven't seen any challenging play. Myatt made an incredible play down there the other night. But I think you just rotate the hottest bat. They tried Newstrom there.
Yeah.
He can't get it together. Myatt can't get it together.
Yeah.
Abernathy, he's been I mean, he looks totally lost. I know he had a couple of hits, but he looks totally lost out there. They've tried Antigua there. So that's at least 4 they've tried at second base. I think that and DH is where you're just trying to plug the 2 hottest bats.
Hey, Taylor,
What about Finley Bates?
I like Finley Bates. It's another good choice. Here's the thing about it, guys. What we see on the field right now, and I was talking with Heflin about this the other day, and what this team is going to be, there are guys right now that are in that everyday lineup that will not be at the end of the year. That's how much competition there is on this team, Taylor, and I'm not sure that's a bad thing. These guys are really deep. It's just a matter of having the chutzpah to continue to rotate till you find the right guys. And they're going to have to do that as a staff. These guys are a work in progress here, I believe. But they've got pitching, and they seem to have defense with multiple combinations. Hey, those are good problems to have, guys.
Well, another one is, I mean, none of the upper, except for true freshmen, everybody has been given an opportunity. There's not one person on that can't say they haven't been given an opportunity. Well, I'll throw another bat out there. How do you keep Grinlinger as a midweek guy only? All that guy does is hit.
See? Great choices here, Taylor. A lot of good young players, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the problem with Garrett Wright is he hasn't been at catcher yet. He's still recovering with that hamate bone injury, right? So he's probably getting close to being able to catch. He's still wearing some type of orthopedic pad on that hand. That would be his catching hand, and that's got to be painful getting 98-mile-per-hour fastballs. But that when he does get back, when he's ready to catch, that'll be interesting. Although, one last thing, Levi Clark has proven to be Blanco's exclusive catcher on Sundays.
Yes.
And when he's catching, he's hitting. So he looks lost at first base. When he's played first base, he has looked lost at the plate. When he's catching on Sundays, he looks like a completely different hitter.
Why is that, you
Well,
think?
I'll say it. I think he's a better catcher than Lawless is.
Maybe so. I'll tell you this. This weekend, Lawless looked darn good. He made several stops, saved a few advancements and runs, and he threw out Jackson. By the way, their catcher, Jackson, was 11 for 11 in stolen bases.
That was incredible, too. That was a hell of a throw.
Lawless was the first one to throw him out.
And Manny Marin, what's his name, Bri? Marin?
Marin.
Taylor says Marin.
He spells himself Marin. Tony called him Marin. Manny Marin made an incredible, the look on his face, his body language when he caught that ball and tug him. I mean, it was like, dude, you're out. Go sit in the damn dugout. Manny Marin loved that throw, receiving that throw. You could see it.
Well, it's Marin, but that's okay. Last thing,
he calls
I'll
himself
say this.
Marin. Tony said his name's Marin. Are you going to go with that or no?
You know, like there's a type of a horse called a mare. It's Marin.
Oh, but it's
Marin I'll say this
County.
on the way out, Tony.
Yes.
What I love about Tennessee's dugout with Grindlinger catching that foul ball off his upper extremity. You talk about chirpiness that went back and forth. But one of the things that's really interesting, everybody probably realizes there's no participation trophy at Tennessee. If you have a bad outing as a pitcher, they're taking the ball from you. You're not getting any congratulations. You're walking the very lonely stroll back to the dugout. You'll notice there's no players out there to high-five you or congratulate you. You're walking into the dugout, hightailing it with your head down, and you're done. Georgia, on the other hand, you could have the most horrific outing ever, give up 3 home runs, walk everybody. They're lined up to give you a high five and greet you and congratulate you. It's kind of ridiculous. Tennessee's dugout was absolutely mocking that the whole game. It was hysterical. They gave Georgia Hades over that. They were doing mock high fives, saying great job. It was hysterical. But there's a lot of that goes on that you don't see. But I found that very very funny.
Yeah,
but it
on
does
television.
outline
On television, you're never going to get this. Tell me about this Johnson guy. When did he become this little chirpy bird? Because we were talking about it. Heflin said, I don't remember him being that way. And I said, Tony said he was a total pain in the ass. Tony told me the guy's a total pain in the ass on the field. But Heflin said, I just don't remember that. He said, I wasn't, I guess maybe I missed it. Taylor, has he just grown into this? Because he came out a couple times to complain about, we're out there, the poor Krenzel kid has to use a towel to wipe his hands down. He didn't want to be anywhere near. I don't even know. This Johnson guy, and then this thing with this Krenzel guy, and you wrote about it today, but I just can't believe they left him out there, Taylor. I just cannot comprehend that. You said that he couldn't even. You said he was throwing the ball to the backstop in warm-ups.
Well, real quick, what happened is he comes out to warm up. He airmailed at least 3 balls that never made it that went straight to the backstop, never hit the ground. And the remaining Georgia fans were going nuts, giving him absolute hell over it. And then finally, Krenzel stops, motions to the dugout, and requests a towel because it was raining really hard at that point.
Yeah.
Ariel Antigua comes out of the dugout, walks onto the field, gives him a towel. Keep in mind, this was during right when he came out, when Krenzel was summoned from the bullpen. The game hadn't started; it was warm ups.
Yes.
Well, Wes Johnson sees this, goes absolutely ape. You know what?
Yes.
Loses his stuff. Argues to the point where I thought they might throw him out, and gets the crew chief, and the crew chief basically says, it's all good, whatever. So no timeout was granted, was called for Tennessee, visiting the mound, none of that. It makes sense. It shouldn't have been. Well, get this. This is how petty little Wes Johnson is.
Mm-hmm.
He waited till the next inning to his first hitter is up. They've already called playtime. The pitch clock has been started. He calls time, walks out to his hitter with a towel, gives him a towel, and then the umpire is getting ready to say that's an offensive timeout. He loses it again, Wes Johnson does, goes 8, you know what, and says there's no way you can call a time. You didn't call time for Tennessee. I mean, that's how petty. But he did stuff like that the entire game.
But he outcoached our guy.
Got warnings.
He outcoached
He's a real
our guy.
pain in the ass.
He outcoached our guy, Taylor. That's what galls me. We should have won that series, Taylor. Played well enough to win that series.
He doesn't suffer poor pitching performances.
No.
Unfortunately,
no.
Elander left Krenzel in probably 3 batters past due.
3 batters. Count them. 1, 2, 3. It was really bad.
It was painful to watch. We did give that game away. Last thing, though, Stone Lawless is getting drug on socials. Listen, when he hit that ball, I thought it was over the trees.
Me too.
I still don't understand how that ball died. There was about a 5 to 8 mile per hour wind blowing out, but it was intermittent and not very strong. It wasn't blowing in. It was a very humid afternoon because of all the rain. That's good. That's a good factor. I have no idea what happened. It felt like the ball hit a bird. But anyway, I don't begrudge him. We were celebrating. I am still shocked that ball stayed in. Last thing, on the bench, the guy that hit the 3-run home run for Georgia did not start the game, came off the bench. The left fielder, the freshman left fielder who robbed that home run, came off the bench. In fact, he was playing at either center or right field the prior inning. Just in the 9th inning, did Johnson move him to left field. And that kid, you know, he did what he was supposed to do. But great coaching by Johnson. I hate that little troll.
Great coaching.
But, yeah, we got out-coached.
Yep.
GBO, Tony.
Thank you. And that's the truth. And I'd be saying the same thing if Tony was here. I used to anger Tony with that. But, you know, you're not going to win them all. But Elander had a bad day on Sunday. You cannot. He's right, Sean. He not only did he leave him in too long, him letting the guy pitch to the kid that had the 14, 15 home runs on the year, leading America in home run, and the kid lashed that single back through the box like it was nobody's business, like it was child's play, like somebody was slow tossing a wiffle ball to him. And then he let him face that dude that's crushed that ball to right center.
Yeah, I thought he left Blanco in too long. You know, Blanco was struggling, gets out of the inning, and then he brings him back in, presumably to face the left-hander.
Yep.
Well, they pitch hit they put a righty in. He gets through that guy, and you're thinking, okay, well, he's going to take him out. Nope. Not. It's a different circumstance because Blanco was there, but he was over 100 pitches.
It was crazy
in the rain.
What is this guy
and
doing?
Then you're sitting there, and then you're thinking, but you still have a big lead. I get all that, but I'll tell you what. I mean, they had with Vitello. I never thought he had a great feel for when to take it. I think you can do 2 things. You can absolutely trust your guy, and you can see that he's struggling. And I thought in the aftermath, Will Heflin said just an incredible thing. He said there were times in his career where he didn't have it, and he was really wanting the guy, the manager, to take him out. But I know that there's a certain pride and a machismo about the high level athlete.
Yeah.
You don't want to ask to be taken out. But I thought that was very candid about him saying, no, all of us pitchers, you know, at one time or another, you know, we're looking in the dugout saying, like, come rescue me. I don't got this, man.
And Will Heflin will be live Sunday. Plan your call-in as you watch a series. I called their show with Will and Matt after the game on Sunday, and a couple things I brought up. First of all, I love the body language of this team. They look to me to be more of a team than last year's team was. First of all. Secondly, I like the attitude these guys play with. That play on Friday night where they did not back away from the railing, and that backup catcher let that ball hit him right in the damn sternum, which could not have felt good. Okay? Which could not have felt good. Was next level. And and Will Heflin does such a great job for us. And let's see. Back to the Phone's going to get 24 hours off for what he just said. So you're out of here. You have a good day, sir. You hit. I threw your ass out of the show. Hit the showers. Bri, do you like when people hit the showers? Do you like when I send them to the showers, Bri?
Yeah, I don't know if I like it better when they're hitting the showers from the actual calling in or from a YouTube chat room.
I love, as Brent TV says here, the positive energy that I got from the baseball team over the weekend. I just get great vibes from them. Great vibes. I think this is going to be a really nice team at the end of the year. And look, they're going to take their lumps along the way. This SEC baseball is no joke. Hey, this Missouri team's got some pretty nice players. I mean, they're playing in the Southeastern Conference. Now they're absolutely the dregs of Southeastern Conference society. How many games they win last year, Brian? That Missouri team.
I think they finished 3-27 and swept A&M. Was their 3 wins toward the end of the season, where you'd think they'd given up.
I'm so stopped up. Goodness gracious. 3-27. You got to give them credit for that. You got to give a club credit for that. When your 3 come at the end of the year and you're 3-27, back to the Phones. Everybody's a smart ass. Oh, dunk on everyone. Will Heflin is so good at this. He's going to be an international man of mystery. He's going to be an international superstar of epic proportions. He's a great young broadcaster. And I love him. And I love my friends at VIP Play where Willie is. Because Brian, what is the line tonight, right now, in that Miami, Ohio versus SMU, Pony Express, brawl for it all, Bri. The Pony Express against Ray Mears' Alma Mater. Bri, give me the number right now.
The Ponies are, if you play the Ponies on the Ponies, you are going to lay 7.5 points.
Brian Hartman.
It's 7.5 minus 7.5 for SMU.
Let's have a pick tonight, right now. Let's do a tout. You and I, Brian, let's put our minds together. If we could just, Brian, if you could just get your mind together and come across with me. I said, but first, are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Well, I have.
I'm going to lose my mind if
not necessarily stoned.
I don't get the pick soon.
Not necessarily stoned, but beautiful. How lit up on drugs do you have to be to come up with a line that says, not necessarily stoned, but beautiful.
Okay, let's pick the game.
I gotta say, Bri, that Are You Experience is a great Jimmy Jam. Wow, 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 wow. All right, Bri, hit it. What's the play tonight?
I think I like getting the points, but I think SMU wins.
Great.
Miami's been in a lot of close games recently, and they've been lucky.
I think SMU
until UMass.
I think SMU takes this team tonight and beats the absolute hell out of them, Brian. Makes an example out of them. Beats them by 15-20. So I suggest you take SMU to cover 7.5. I'd play it up to 11, so it's kind of going to go there. I like when guys say that. Play it up to 11. I'm just spitballing here. But bet $20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. We'll go back to the phones. VIP Play, live always, 200+ leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. Listen, it is time for the sadness to begin and the madness to begin, and some of us be mad, some of us be sad, and some of us be glad. But the one place to play and experience it all is over at VIP Play, where you bet 20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. And the promo code, as we like to say around here, the phrase that pays, is TN Tony. TN Tony. VIP Play, where everybody gets treated like a VIP. We go back to our phones on a day where we've touched them all. Some football, you bet. Some Tennessee baseball, you bet. The basketball right around the corner, you bet. Tonight's opponent, which we previewed yesterday, I thought it was interesting. We had the play-by-play voice of SMU on, and he would not commit as to whether or not B.J. Edwards was playing. After the school issued on their website, hey, we welcome him back for the tournament, and he was like, well, we're in the tournament now. I don't have to pretend anymore. Dave said, I can't find what he said. Free him, Tony. No, Dave, I'm not freeing him, and you're not going to find what he said because I eradicated him. He hit the showers for a day. He needs to think about it. He needs to leave our family alone here. If he has something like that to say, he needs to keep it to himself because he's a punk and a clown. And it wasn't even directed toward me, but as I say in the trade, he's a punk and a clown. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
What's up, John?
Another member of the dysfunctional family.
Dysfunctional AF, man.
Dysfunctional AF.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't find out. I'm thinking Edwards ain't going to play. Just look at Andy Enfield's kind of walking back his comments. Yesterday, he was like, yeah, I said, you know, he was going to help us, but I didn't really mean for sure he was going to play. And I sort of think he's probably not going to play, but
Lee, for the living gambler out there, Lee, isn't that why when I get that play-by-play guy on and he says what he said, it was pretty damn significant when you heard that? Because the play-by-play guy refused to sell for it, which is pretty damn interesting, Lee. You don't get that very much, but that's a guy who told us he's been there about 25 years doing games, so he has such a tenure that he don't give an F. He didn't care. He was like, I'll believe it when I see it he's going to play. That's when I thought, hey, we were all getting played on Sunday. Everybody was getting played.
Yeah, you'll get more from trying to find guys, like play-by-play guys, or if you can find like guys that go to school at these schools that actually write for them on a daily basis. They usually will give you something. They're hard to find, but you're not going to get anything from the teams or the actual injury reports. That's for sure. I mean,
no question. I mean, that's the biggest root. The SEC acts like they solved that problem, Lee. That's the biggest joke in the world.
Oh yeah, I mean these injury reports in basketball are a joke, man. I mean they're not even. They might as well just stop doing it altogether. So
the line's been right at 7.5 the whole time. Is that pretty much factored in that they know he's not going to play, and that's why it hadn't moved?
No, I mean I think it's that line is right where Ken Palm has it, and I mean I think if somebody knew for sure he was going to play or he wasn't, then you would see a little bit of movement on it. I just don't think anybody knows. I don't think you're going to know until warm-ups. You know, you might see it move. Maybe it moves like a point one direction or the other during warm-ups when somebody gets a good idea of whether or not he's in or out. But until then, I don't think anybody really knows.
Hey, Lee, how much did the Alabama line move after the news of the enterprising young man? Did it move at all?
I don't think it moved all that much.
It just goes to show you what kind of club they have when you can lose your second leading scorer and basically it doesn't move at all. They've got that Reitzel guy can play. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, they've got players. I mean, for sure, and it's kind of like the Ewing effect too. Like, you know, one of your players goes out. Generally, somebody's probably going to step up and play pretty well. Happens a lot. It sort of happened with Texas Tech and JT Toppin. You know, he went out, had some players step up, play really well, and they looked pretty good for a few games. So, it's hard. It's different from like NFL with like a quarterback or something where you know this player is worth this many points. You know, it's a little bit different in college basketball. But I think it's a good matchup for Miami of Ohio tonight. Like if you're them, like this couldn't have worked out better for you. I mean, as far as a matchup, like you got a team in SMU that really doesn't defend at all, and they're not going to play at the rim, which is where you're weak. So. I think Miami of Ohio might stick around. I think they'll be able to run their offense. and they're going to have like a home court advantage. Like they're not too far from their campus. I got to imagine that place is going to be mostly all Miami of Ohio fans in there.
Yep. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief, though, that when you see teams like that, Lee, and they get on that big stage, either one of two things happens. And I'm betting it's going to get ugly for them tonight. That's my bet. But we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I played Miami of Ohio, but it's like it's pretty low confidence.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on that game.
What'd you make of that? Hey, what'd you make of that second session game last night that went right to the end?
It was a lot lower scoring than I thought. Like those two teams played in Maui, and the score was like 101-97, and that game last night was a lot lower scoring than I thought it would be. I mean, I'll be honest. I tried to watch some of it, and the WBC was going on at the same time, and Charles Barkley and Dick Vitale were driving me crazy, so I just kept turning it off.
Listen, the WBC last night was an excellent baseball game. When Bryce Harper hit that Jimmy Jack in the bottom of 8, coming out of nowhere to do it, by the way, and then those guys from Venezuela responded with a run in the 9th. That was championship-level baseball, Lee. It was a great game. Great defense, a lot of strategy. It's just an awesome baseball game, I thought.
The pitching was great. I was really disappointed in the U.S. hitters. Like, Judge was awful. Like, Judge was terrible.
Well, he's a Yankee. He's a loser. You know? He is. He's one of Bino's underachieving, Yankee losers.
I mean, he's pretty awesome, but he wasn't awesome last night. He wasn't. He wasn't close to touching a baseball last night.
No.
So, but yeah, I was just going to real quick. I was going to touch on this football, these win totals, and the SEC.
Yep.
Yeah, with this non-game schedule, I think the SEC is kind of in for a little bit of a reality check here. Like, that's what I expected with all these win totals. I mean, if you really look at this, you can make an argument for Georgia and Texas are like two teams that could get to 10 wins. And outside of that, like you'll probably have like one team that everything kind of comes together and they have a really good year and they push 9 or 10 wins. So I think that's like 3. I think everybody else in the league I don't think gets to 9 wins. I think everybody else is below 9 wins. I think that's the kind of year you're looking at going to this non-game schedule.
And you know what's funny? Last year our league wasn't that good and we didn't want to believe it. But you know what, Lee? It wasn't that good. It's better this year, but I'm not sure how much better it is this year. Like talking to Blake Topmeyer, he says, Tony, here's a little hidden secret for you, okay? The league's not that good. Now, we got these high-paid coaches and these high-paid players, but compared to stuff that's going on around college football right now, the league's kind of slipped a little bit, Lee. And that's another reason why. These teams are bunched together now.
No question, yeah. If I can find a decent, we'll see closer to football season, but it wouldn't shock me if only 3 SEC teams make the playoffs next year.
There you go.
But just looking at the layout of everything, like I said, going to that non-game schedule, a lot of new coaches in the league.
Yep. And
so it doesn't surprise me Tennessee was only 6.5. I don't think that win total would be any different at all if it was Aguilar. There were national championship odds out before if we found out he wasn't going to play. Those odds didn't budge a cent based on that news at all. I think the win total would have been 6.5 with Aguilar or without him.
Totally agree. And that was my point earlier. People act like, and look, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Aguilar's a nice story last year on what he did. But one thing I'm not going to do, and I was calling the guy Joey Football last summer, and I love it. Look, I'm all for the hype. You know I am. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like what we saw we didn't see. The guy's a replacement-level quarterback. Well, what about all the numbers he threw for? Okay, what about all the numbers he threw for? What about the games that mattered? Damn it. Quit talking about all those yards he threw for. What about in the games that mattered? That's what counts when you're playing quarterback in this league. It's not how many yards you throw for. It's so frustrating to try and convey that to people. League quarterbacks have to win games. That's the whole point behind the position, yes?
Yeah, I mean, you got to, and we didn't beat anybody of significance last year. I mean, it is what it is. The offense went dormant for long stretches in a lot of games, and that's just true. I think regardless of who you put in at quarterback with Heupel, I think they're probably going to put up pretty good numbers. You got to get past just looking at like the back of the baseball card counting stats, just how many yards he moved for it. And there's a lot more that goes into it. And I'm not saying he had a bad year, but I just think you're probably going to get some more production for most whoever you put out there in this system,
Yeah, he had a nice year. No question about it. But he's not, again, with or without Joey, to me, I think the number would still be 6.5. I agree with that.
Yeah, it'd have been the same. It wouldn't be any different.
Yep.
I mean, the market will tell you if you're wrong. Like if those numbers are wrong. Look, these sports books are flying. These sports books are kind of flying blind when they put these up. They're going to put them up early, way before the season starts for low limits, and they'll let the market dictate where they should go.
Yep.
If the market thought that it was way off, then they would have already moved it up. They would have already changed it, but they haven't. So,
Lee, thank you. Great talking to you. Enjoy the games tonight, tomorrow. Good night. So long, peace, and God bless. Brian Hartman, you have anything else you want to add? It's been an incredible show today.
Well, I just thought the Marin discussion or topic brought out a very, very, very interesting scintillating musical conversation with you and Sean.
Well, it's like Neka Dave over here. I mean, it's either that or, take another call from Nega Dave, who's an absolute... Nega Dave, when I watch you in that chat, okay, and I mean this with all due respect to you, what I picture is, because oil, the price of oil right now with the world scene, I picture an empty oil barrel. And I'll take that empty oil barrel, Dave, and I will take 3 BBs. And I will take those BBs and I will rattle them around that oil barrel, Dave. And that sound, Dave, is your sports takes. Bang, 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 boom, 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 boom. Or, Dave, I'm going to show you right here, look. See how swelled up I am right here, Dave? Look at this right here. It's not a pretty picture. But I've got a little swelling here in my nose, which is big to begin with. But if you can see it, I'm going to show it to you right here. Dave, I've got a headache, and I try, after hurting my back last year, not to take Advil, But I've got, my eyes are kind of white, whatever that you call that term. What do you call that, Brian, when your eyes get bloodshot? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, Brian, when your eyes get kind of... my eyes are kind of bloodshot. And my nose is all swelled up.
You've had too much to drink.
My nose is all swelled up right up in here. My face is kind of... And it's going boom, 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 boom. You ever get that, Brian? Where your ears are going boom, boom, boom.
I don't think so.
Boom, 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 boom. Dave, you are like an Excedrin headache to me. I mean, if I could, I would take some Bufferin, some sports Bufferin, and Bufferin you right out of here, you clown. Oh, my gosh. But not necessarily stoned, but beautiful. Brian, are you familiar with Jimi Hendrix catalog? Have you ever heard Are You Experienced?
Some of his stuff, yes.
All right. Brian, thank you. We're going to end with some AMSR today. Thank you, Brian. Brian hung up for that. All right, here we go. Little Jimi Hendrix. Are You Experienced? AMSR. Let me find the lyrics to it, because I know it's if you could just get your mind together. Let's hang on. You Experience lyrics. Jimi Hendrix. If you could just... All right, here we go. We'll do a little AMSR. Jimi Hendrix. And ladies and gentlemen, people, I get paid to do this, so I do want to remind you that the great Will Heflin is going to drop another award-winning Weekend Rotation podcast presented by our friends at Popper Popcorn and your Garza Law Firm.
And negative is BB's in a barrel. But here you go. You can turn us on later. Fall asleep. Are you experienced? Jimi Hendrix experience. Psychedelic. Title track. If you could just get your mind together and then come across to me, we'll hold hands and watch the sunrise from the bottom of the sea. But first, are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Well, let me prove it to you. Trumpets and violins, I can hear in the distance. I think they're called our name. Maybe now you can't hear them, but you will. If you take hold of my hand. But first, are you experienced? Have you been experienced? Not necessarily stoned, but beautiful. That's our show for the day. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy yourself. That's really hard with the stuff he knows. Those AMSR artists, that's hard work. But I have not necessarily stoned. Beautiful.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Pretty fired up, pretty focused, pretty prepared. Thanks to our friends at Calhoun's for having us out last night. Calhoun's on the river. Sexy Lancey, you played exquisitely. Lauren, you sang like an absolute songbird. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chillins of all ages. We're fired up, focused, prepared.